I call to order the closed session meeting of the Mayor and City Council at 3:32 p.m. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for those who are here, and thank you for those who are viewing remotely. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Here.
Councilmember Barra has not arrived yet. Mayor Pro Tem?
Here.
Councilmember Charette has not yet arrived. Councilmember Canas has not yet arrived. Councilmember Flores?
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Here.
And Mayor Tran?
Here. Thank you. Moving on to public comments for closed session. Do you have any?
No, we have no request to speak.
Thank you. We will now convene into closed session at 3:32 p.m.
And Mayor, just for the record, the Conference of Legal Counsel for Significant Exposure, we're going to be talking about Manville as we have in the past.
Thank you so much for that clarification. Okay, we'll see you back. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for being here, and thank you to those viewing remotely. I call to order this joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the redevelopment agency of the City of San Bernardino, the San Bernardino City Housing Authority, and as the San Bernardino Joint Powers Finance Authority at 5:19 p.m. Thank you for your patience. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Here.
Councilmember Barra is not present. Mayor Pro Tem?
Here.
Councilmember Charette?
Here.
And Councilmember Canas?
Here.
Councilmember Flores?
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Here.
And Mayor Tran?
Here. Thank you. We will now move on to invocation and pledge. Pastor B.J. Sims from Kingdom Culture Worship Center will lead tonight's invocation. Please approach the podium at this time. And Maite Anderson from Hardy Brown College Prep will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please all rise.
Thank you so much, and good evening, Mayor and City Council. Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to lead your city. Father, we thank you that Proverbs 29:2 says that when the righteous are in rulership, God, that the people rejoice, God. We ask you to allow our city council and our mayor, God, to continue to become people that provokes rejoicing in San Bernardino. We thank you, God, that they're covered. We just come against any unnecessary stress, God, anything, God, that will try to divide what we're trying to establish here in this city. Where you said in Psalms 133, God, that wherever there's unity, you command the blessing. So we ask you, God, not only to protect them, to cover them, God, to keep them from any hurt, harm, or danger, God, but give them the courage to continue to lead, God, in unity. And God, reject any forms of any type of division. We give you this night. We welcome you into this room. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor B.J. Sims, and thank you, Maite, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
Thank you, Mayor. There are no reportable actions from closed session.
Thank you. Moving on to presentations, Citizen of the Month, Carlos Turan, Civic Engagement presented by Councilmember Mario Flores. Council, let's join Councilmember to the front of the stage.
Good evening, everyone. So, Carlos, I remember a few months ago we had a conversation, and you had mentioned to me that you weren't as involved as you used to be with, as when you were back on the Mount Vernon Association, and you just weren't as involved, right? But in the short 10 and a half months, short but fast 10 and a half months that I've been here on the council team, I've seen otherwise. And it all started back when I attended that St. Anthony Parish, the community party meeting, and you had mentioned to me it's a huge fiesta for the community to come together and just be involved and spend time together, and that really struck something with me. And you also mentioned that you're gonna be making food. I believe it was burgers, and that regardless if someone was hungry and they didn't have the money, they were going to be fed, especially children. And as someone that works with like children and works with youth, that really is an extremely important part for me. And your insight on wanting to involve the police department to have a booth at the fiesta and inviting our explorers to be part of that and exposing our youth to those opportunities, those career pathways, it's really exciting to see. And the last thing that comes to mind is in August, our Coffee with the Cop was held at St. Anthony Parish, and you kind of helped lead and organize that event with like the outreach. And to this day, I have not seen that much attendance before at our Coffee with the Cop. And what I'm trying to say with all this is I see the incredible work that you do for our community, and I see the time and effort that you put into it. You might think it might be small, but it's greatly significant. And honestly, it's a pleasure and an honor to present you with this certificate on behalf of the mayor, the city council, and the city of San Bernardino for the incredible work that you do for our community.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yes. So all we do is for the glory of God. No matter what we are, we're all good citizens, regardless of what people say and people do. As far as the recognition, sometimes we don't want it, but I know that we do everything in secret, and everything we do is for God's glory no matter what. And I also want to represent the ones that do good deeds every day and don't get recognized. So in their honor, I'm here to represent them. Even though they don't want to be honored, I'm here for them.
Thank you, Councilman. Beautifully said. And thank you to Carlos Sherman. Please another round of applause to a wonderful citizen of our city doing great work in the community. Thank you. We will now move on to City Manager update. Mr. City Manager.
Madam Mayor and City Council members, last night the California Theater celebrated its reopening by hosting the 2025 State of the City. The large crowd enjoyed the festivities and got to hear about recent city accomplishments and upcoming goals. The city also brought back the tradition of awarding keys to the city, with Yohavitam of San Manuel Nation and Cal State San Bernardino President Tomas Morales being the inaugural recipients. Thank you to all of you for an excellent night. And then there's some pictures that are up there of the state of the city. And the second set of pictures. Big crowd There were big crowds at several popular community events. This past week, community members and car enthusiasts came to downtown San Bernardino for the annual rendezvous back to Route 66 this past Saturday and Coptoberfest on Thursday. Thank you to the San Bernardino Area Chamber of Commerce for bringing so many visitors to downtown and the PD for building community partnerships. The last item I have is via council action, contracts that the city manager has approved. They're between 50 and 100,000, I believe. Need to come to you in the city manager report. What you have is starting in June or the end of June, so July and August primarily, with also June 25th. These are the goods and services that were signed off on contracts by the city manager. And I can answer any questions either here or later on. Probably more likely later on if you have questions on it. And with that, that's my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to public comments. At this time, public comments will be heard for items on the open session and items not on the agenda. To address the City Council, everyone must complete a speaker card and provide it to the City Clerk. Only those speaker cards turned into the City Clerk will be allowed to address the City Council. No late cards will be accepted. Each person should state their name for the record before beginning their comments. As your name is called, please line up in the as announced. We have 2 podiums available for your convenience. Please proceed to either one as soon as your name is called. Please note your name will only be called once. If you do not respond when called, you may forfeit your opportunity to speak. If you do require a Spanish interpretation, we do have an interpreter on site. Please raise your hand at this time to indicate if you need interpreting assistance. In addition, we have interpreting listening devices available in the back. We also ask that you please observe proper decorum and do not speak out of turn or make comments from your seat. If you wish to address the Mayor and City Council, please be sure to submit a speaker slip. If you speak out of turn or disrupt the meeting, a warning may be given or you will be asked to leave the meeting pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.9 and Penal Code 403.
En este momento se escucharán los comentarios públicos para artículos de la agenda y artículos que no están en la agenda. Para dirigirse al Consejo Municipal, cada individuo debe completar una tarjeta de orador. Se debe completar la tarjeta de orador y entregarla a la secretaria municipal en este momento. Solo aquellas tarjetas de orador entregadas a la secretaria municipal podrán dirigirse al Consejo Municipal. No se aceptarán tarjetas tardías. Cada persona debe indicar su nombre para el registro antes de comenzar sus comentarios. Al ser llamado, por favor, forme una fila en el orden anunciado. Disponemos de 2 podios para su comodidad. Diríjase a cualquiera de ellos tan pronto como se le llame su nombre. Si necesita interpretación en español, tenemos un intérprete presente. Por favor, levante la mano en este momento para indicar que requiere servicios. También tenemos aparatos disponibles para escuchar la Junta en español.
Thank you. Gracias. We have 33 speakers tonight, and each speaker will have 3 minutes. Madam City Clerk, please call up the speakers.
Okay. Mayor, if I may make a brief announcement. So I was just made aware that there is an issue with YouTube, and so our YouTube stream is not working, but the meeting is streaming on IEMG for the public.
Thank you for that information.
Al Palazzo, Mike Hartley, Christian Shaughnessy, Kim Calvin, Luis Ojeda, Eric Marquez, Georgia L., Sharon Negretti, Joe Salas, Jim Smith, Ronika Galande, John Schollenberger, Scott Olson, Charles Berg, and John Tex Williams.
You may begin.
Mayor, council members, city manager. Let us create jobs for the people. Let us start rebuilding our downtown by focusing on the people here in San Bernardino. Downtowns have shops, stores with merchandise. We actually have many at the Discount Mall on 9th and Waterman that would be appropriate for a downtown. but they are not in the right buildings with display windows like Victoria Gardens, facing a sidewalk for a promenade with pedestrians and vehicles passing by. The next time you enter the front of this building, pause where the walls meet the glass doors and windows. That is a space double the size of 3 stalls in the discount mall. Give me a few investors, builders, local people, building small, inexpensive skeleton frame type buildings from F to Arrowhead on 5th Street, back to 4th and 6th. And you will have the Victoria Gardens type buildings on South Main Street in Rancho with large windows for mannequins to show the merchandise inside. You will have about 24 shops. We'll call it our Fifth Avenue, like Manhattan. It can be a start in bringing more small shops to the downtown owned by local people, small businesses. If you really want to up your game, the 2 buildings on 4th Street in Rancho Cucamonga, east of Sonics, they have spectacular architecture with 2-story display windows for shops and fine dining steakhouse restaurants. I was there this weekend in a building with Mediterranean architecture, much like Rome. The Carousel Mall would be more like Citrus Plaza in Redlands or the Renaissance in Rialto, with big retail stores like Old Navy, Burlington, Barnes & Noble, etc. Let us not delay on the construction of the amphitheater on the south side of the old wards. You have the land and it is already excavated sloping. I would reach out to the people in San Bernardino by putting on workshops every Saturday for 4 hours here in the library to explain rebuilding San Bernardino in detail on Mount Vernon, on Waterman, on Highland, on Baseline, and all the area in between, if I was lucky to be part of your staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, people of the great city of San Bernardino. My name is Christian Shaughnessy. First off, I just want to give utmost thanks to city staff, city council, honorable mayor, for yesterday's wonderful, wonderful State of the City event. I'd also like to give thanks to the fine men and women of our San Bernardino Police Department for guarding us as we proceeded through the event in this time of political violence. They're guarding us while we sleep and while we talk and while we give updates on the city's progress is very much appreciated. For the mainstay of my public comment tonight, though, I did want to ask for some clarity regarding the language that was found in the packet for Alternative 3 of the Oxbow item agenda. In particular, it was put down in paper that the crushed and grinded future infill debris would eventually be used for future residential development. And so in the interest of the great principle of informed consent, I wanted to ask the council today, do we know that? Do we know that the infill would be used to construct more housing? I'm somebody that, needless to say, is very passionate about building more housing in our city, increasing the housing stock. But we've already had many people, including my father, who's a disabled veteran who lives on Shepherd. They've experienced the problem of dust hitting one's vehicles, of dust hitting one's windows. And so I think it would be very important to make clear to the community specifically how long said hypothetical future infill would actually be at the site. No doubt there will be many people coming to the microphone tonight to ask the fair-minded question regarding that. I wanted to add to that as well. Because for many years now, the Oxbow site has been, unfortunately, a symbol of past dysfunction over in the city of San Bernardino. And so I think that if there's anything that we can do in the nonprofit world, if there's anything council members can do to collaborate with each other to actually mitigate harms and to get things done, please let us know. Let's persevere, move forward. Let's mitigate those harms, the noise, the dust, pollution, carcinogens, and then let's do everything we can to work together as was laid out in the spirit of the State of the City last night. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Please turn on the mic. Yes, thank you.
Hello, greeting council members. My name is Charles Burge. I have a small company called Max Racks Incorporated. We resell metal products, and as of our actions, we reduce CO2 in the world. No chemicals are used, no parked cars, 1 forklift in top condition. I have survived 4 heart attacks and was dead for 5 minutes. I am still alive because I work. My heart is at 35%, and I want to continue to work. My goal in this meeting is to have code enforcement close its complaint against me, even if only for a year or so, giving me time to find a new storage yard. My business is struggling at 1086 South Washington near Orange Show. I'm a tenant at this location for 5 years and a business owner in San Bernardino 20 years. This new code enforcement officer, Jennifer Palestino, has overturned all the prior code enforcement officers' inspections over the last 5 years. The prior inspection in January was from Bernardo Guerion. He was done and completed. All of his citations and corrections were addressed and completed to his satisfaction. After a follow-up visit, he said all is good in the property, and I thanked him. We shook hands. He left. I was under the impression the case was closed. So I continued buying and operating my business at this property and was hit with 6, and the landlord, I'm only a tenant, the landlord was hit with 6 new citations and penalties to the homeowner directly in July. I'm now facing eviction. The homeowner wants 0 trouble. I have been told I must move because the property is residential, but it has been used for many years as light industrial. For the record, I'd like to say this property has always been used for cars, impound lot, lots of gas and oil, old tires. I am very good, clean air, helping, doing my part for the environment. In closing, please let me be in your city to work and live out my days reselling metal. Each piece I sell helps the world a tiny little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if I went over.
No worries. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Luis Ojeda, and I just want to say great job, staff. I was pleasantly surprised. You guys amazed me. And see, we can do it. We can do it. It's just a matter of putting a little bit of heart and mind to it, right? So let's keep going. It's just the beginning, right? Well, let me talk about Oxford, right? Everybody wants to be the savior or something. I want to tell you something. I know a little bit about trucks because I own a trucking company for 30 years. So I don't pretend to be an expert on it, but I just know a little bit. I feel that the best option, okay, is to crash on site. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've been on Palm during the rush hour, and it's a nightmare with traffic. Just imagine hundreds of trucks going up and down for weeks, I don't know, maybe months. Plus the pollution, plus the damage to the road, plus the dust it's going to create. Now, I just want people to think about this, right? I'm sure that many of us have seen the mountains of crushed concrete besides the freeways when they're doing any expansion or something. Millions of cars go by every day. Nobody says anything. Nobody complains about it. So why isn't it different? You know, Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that it's not contaminated because, as you know, we've been talking about this for years, and they said that it's not contaminated. They already did some studies, and it's good, right? So now, let me change the subject a little bit, but it's kind of on the same subject in a way. Right now, everybody talks about homeless. Have you guys noticed the amount of homeless people that are moving to that area? And what do you think is the reason? There's nobody there. That's what they like. They don't like to be bothered. So, but there's a company, JFR Homes. I know Mr. Felix Robles, you know, he's been trying to do good in that area, investing in that area. And even though he's trying to do his best, you know, sometimes people complain about it. But last Saturday, I went to an event. The Highlanders boxing gym moved into the property there. There's a house that he's letting them use. And we need to talk about something, is talk about the youth. Tony Cifuentes with the Highlanders Boxing Club is doing a great job, and he just moved to San Bernardino. And I think that we need to get behind this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
John Tex Williams, Barstow. I serve on the city council in Barstow, and I wanted to come down and share my gratitude to what you guys do, because we all have to work together and make this high desert, to make this Inland Empire the best it can be. With that said, I am so proud of being friends with Councilwoman Dr. Ortiz. We share the same values of making sure that the public knows what's going on. I'm on Facebook a lot, and what I basically do is make sure our residents understand what is going on in our cities. I think we're losing that. I think we sit back too much behind the tables, and we don't share what is actually going on with our residents. So I want to share a little bit what is going on in Barstow, because we have one of your past employees, Rochelle Clayton, as our new city manager. And what we are seeing in our city is parks exploding with quality that we've never seen before, that we're seeing our roads and our streets being completely redone. We are changing what we're doing. And I want you guys to know that you're a part of that now, because your past city assistant manager is now up there doing the great work up there with us. And so seeing that and feeling that going through is really something special. But I want you guys to remind you guys, we work for the people. You don't work for yourself. We don't answer to ourselves. We don't sit behind closed doors and make decisions for our own benefit. We do it for our residents. And I want you guys to know I appreciate what you do. And your problems here in San Bernardino are the same problems we have everywhere. No matter how big or small your city is, funding will always be an issue. So when you're up complaining about our streets, even down in here or in Barstow, wherever you're at, just remember, funding is the #1 problem. That is something that we all have to fight for. And you see where cities are going after grants. You see where everyone is trying to go find that extra dollar. These are very hard decisions. And I got to honor you guys. I respect you guys. And what you have to do, and you can't, some of the things you can't tell the public, you should be proud of yourself. It's not an easy job. Anybody who thinks it is an easy job, run for a seat. Find out how bad it really is and what difficult things you got to make and what decisions you have to do and who benefits and who doesn't. And you guys have to make that decision. And I want to tell you, I'm proud of you guys. It's a very difficult job, and you guys should all be proud of yourself to serve the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
John Schollenberger, 7th Ward, City of San Bernardino. I want to speak to the Oxbow situation. Let's rewind the tape and see how we got to this moment in the first place. The root cause, former Mayor John Valdivia. He is responsible for this. Having all those trucks dumping that concrete up there in the Oxbow in that beautiful Verdamont neighborhood. That's a beautiful neighborhood. And these people were feeling powerless to watch all this stuff go down. Okay? He's the root cause of this stuff. Now, Ron Lewis, who used to be on the Planning Commission, told me he did some extensive research on this. And yes, that concrete is toxic laden. And the silica dust and everything else, he went into detail. I don't have time to do it. Okay, April 7, 2021, the council voted 4-3 to use $2 million in funds to take action and get this thing cleaned up. Valdivia vetoed it on April 8th, the next day, continuing the problem. Okay, this needs to get done. Crushing and grinding is not allowed in the city of San Bernardino. Get it through your head, it's not allowed, regardless, okay? Trucks going up there and taking it out of there chunk by chunk is really the only viable solution at this point. And they talk about, oh, there's gonna be trucks, and there's trucks going up and down, and cars and everything else going up and down. I'm not a pollution person myself, but I'm saying the safest thing that I can see is just hauling this stuff out of there, getting it out. I have a young couple that bought their very first home in San Bernardino. They could have easily went to Riverside, took their money, and left. They said, we grew up here, we went to school here, we earned our degrees here, we want to stay here. They bought a beautiful home up in that area, and they love it. Their brand new 15-month-old girl was born and brought home to that house, and their school-age daughter is continuing on in her education. Their health and safety and the safety of that community mean everything to me, especially now with this being, with that couple being there, is a vested interest to me. We have to do this in a sensible way. What doesn't affect some people doesn't concern them. If you don't live in Vermont and you're not affected by what's going on up there, it's easy to say, well, we can just crush and grind. Yeah, because you're not the one breathing in all that dust. So we need to be logical and think about our approach.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
My name is Eric Marquez. How many of you wouldn't even remember my name if I didn't say it? But my favorite part about last meeting, Teddy Bear over there, yes, him, he literally pointed out all of Fred's accomplishments while he wasn't in office. Isn't that fun? The best part is that it's a campaigning season, and he abused his ability to sit on the dais and speak, violating the Brown Act. I mean, doesn't that just make you smile? Then also, the thing I have concern with in regards to Fred Charette during his term in office is that he's the only one on this council that was there during the bankruptcy when we lost our fire department and property tax in perpetuity. Only the county can give it to us when we feel like it. When they feel like it, they could just hand it to us. We might as well not exist. We barely have sales tax as a revenue source, and it may have saved us money by cutting off our fire department, but we also lost a major source of revenue to property tax. And now on top of property tax, we pay a parcel tax to the county. Oh, also, that's the professional portion. And for everyone I invited to my secret dinner party, it's been moved to the last Saturday of November, and don't tell anyone. Also, I'll send actual invitations via email, maybe card, text, pictures of them. Only some of you can make it, and I understand if you can't. You know who you are, but I'm hoping for at least 4 people to show up. And if you don't, I get it. RSVP at least a week in advance. And you can bring up to 2 guests. If you want to bring more, just let me know, and we can make exceptions. I was thinking about spatchcock chicken and a vegetarian quiche as the entree. And as for the sides, I was thinking about chicken roasted potatoes and carrots, you know, because underneath the dripping butter, or butter I'm making for the chicken spatchcocked, it'll just drip on all those potatoes over an hour, and carrots, and it'll just caramelize. It'd be delicious. And also mashed potatoes. I have rosemary and thyme for my garden, so I'm definitely going to use that. And also rosemary brie for the appetizer. along with fresh bolillo and also this pizza bread I just made up by stealing it from Pizza Hut. It's basically just pizza dough, fresh pizza dough, with melted mozzarella on top and a side of beurre blanc sauce. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
Mike Lane, Dolores Armstead, Hank Mitchell, Alex Tidoro, Harry Hatch, Layla Gumulka, Barbara Sky, Bernice Altamirano, Ray Blum, Henry Nickel, Claire Rieger, Les, Lydia Zavala, Sharif Awad, Richard Hernandez, Ron Alvarado, Mary J., and Chris Gribby.
Thank you. Please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Mike Lane. I'm the Executive Director of the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation. It's my pleasure to come and speak to you tonight, Madam Mayor and honorable City Council members. I just wanted to bring you up to date that our 100th Gala event will occur on March 27th, 2026. That is a Friday evening. It will be held on campus. It will feature a live dinner, car show, a live auction, and some other tidbits that I can fill you in on later. But I wanted to invite you all. It's a big year for us. The actual anniversary of the college is March 26, 2026. The college was founded on March 26, 1926. So I wanted to invite you all to participate. Any net proceeds we make from the event support student scholarships there. This past year, we gave out over $800,000 to students at San Bernardino Valley College, majority of which live in your city here. So we would encourage you to think about attending the Gala event. And also, I'd love to provide a tour to any of you that would like to come on campus and see it in the near future. That's all I had, so thank you very much.
Thank you. 100 years.
I'll leave this with the clerk.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
My name is Scott Olson. I'm a lifetime resident of San Bernardino, born and raised in the North End, currently living over in the East Side. Okay, and I went to the, thank you, Eric, for getting the tickets, to the State of the City address. I've been to probably a half a dozen of them, and I want to say it was a very good State of the address. Individual comments, very good, Mayor, however, slightly overplayed. Sandra has been one of my favorite city council persons for a long time, and I want to give her kudos for something she did that was not easy. She spoke from the heart, and she spoke as herself. One of the biggest things that we need in San Bernardino is elected officials who are actually themselves and not trying to be what other people want them to be, because when you do that, you have situations like Fred, who spent 16 years being a puppet to all sorts of different people. It doesn't work. Kim Noss, you did well, as long as Mario, and even Treasurer, yes, I'm gonna say from the dais, Treasurer did very well. And the more you work at being yourself, and not trying to play and popper to those who want to push you the way they want to do, the better you're going to be with the people. Juan, you've been my favorite for a long time. You've done great as usual, and I want to say thank you. Fred, I had to laugh when you got up and spoke about progress, because since you've been on the dais, progress has not been anything connected to your name. Unless you want to call the new city charter, getting rid of the trash department, getting rid of the fire department, costing everybody parcel tax money, and a list you're going to hear about ad nauseum for the next Centella campaign. It's about time people knew who you really were in your past. That being said, I'm very politically involved. I'm involved in multiple organizations. I'm on the board of directors of one. Okay, I know what's going on, and I'm a Republican. And I'm embarrassed to say, Fred, that you're the only other Republican on this dais, because you don't represent us very well. Okay, welcome to campaign season, and I want to let all of you know one thing. This dais is a political platform. As residents, we are free to say what we want, and yes, we can say how we feel about the people up on the dais or past people. And I will do that. Now, to set the thing straight with a lot of people as far as campaigns, the first thing you need to realize is they're called nonpartisan. A lot of you need to realize what nonpartisan means. Nonpartisan means they don't put the political party on the ballot. But if you're not that smart when you turn in your candidate statement of intent, you're going to put your political party and give it away. Me, With my involvement in the Republican Party and the conservative movement, I can't hide it. I am who I am. Okay? But I work with everybody when I'm given the chance. When it comes to everybody up on that dais, every elected official, while you may be considered to have a nonpartisan office, every one of you bring a political foundation with you. And if you don't have a political foundation, it's really not a good thing to be there.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Dolores Armstead. I attended the State of the City last night. The theater looks fantastic. City staff, thank you, because the reception was fantastic, and we residents and businesses, thank you. However, you council members, you were sad as heck. Except for projects in the 6th Ward that were initiated by the previous council member, Calvin, you had nothing to say about your wards, except for Dr. Ortiz. She told the truth. The rest of you repeated, I don't know if you read the same script, you repeated the same thing, but nothing about what's going on in your wards. Is there nothing going on? Because you sure didn't tell us. Nothing about downtown or the city redevelopment. What is happening? You didn't say. You did announce, several of you, you're so proud that you hired the city clerk. How was it possible when there was no vote? Isn't that a violation of the Brown Act? I think it is, but another illegal hiring. Remember when you hired the city manager on a Sunday? Remember that? We do. I don't think that should have been legal either. Oxbow, our favorite 5th Ward. What is the status? Well, we know what the status is. The language is vague regarding the building. How can it be used for housing, which is one of your options, when the soil is contaminated? Do you know what contaminate means? Obviously not, because you're proposing that. We need a 2nd or 3rd environmental and independent environmental review, because obviously somebody got paid to do this, because it's not the truth, okay? There was another thing, there was a large event at the Orange Show and obviously at the theater this week. And the people attending the different, and we had the car show, the people attending these events, there's no restaurants for them to go to. There's no shopping for them to go to downtown. What do they look at? They look at a 3rd Ward bombed out city because you haven't done anything. Or are you waiting to get paid? There's a couple of you must be waiting to get paid because there's been no progress. We don't have a city hall. We are the center of this county, and we don't have a city hall still. Why? What are you doing? Except for, well, you didn't even mention it last night because you have nothing to say, nothing to show. What did you do for the city? None of you mentioned what you are doing in your wards. None of you, except the 6th Ward, is moving on somebody else's projects. None of you. You all repeated the same script, except for Councilmember Ortiz, Dr. Ortiz. The rest of you, you're sad. You embarrass us. It's sad that the city's not going anywhere. You must be proud of yourself. Voters out there, this is voting season. Think of what they don't do, because that's what we're dealing with, what they don't do, except get paid.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, council members, mayor, the public. My name is Alexis Teodoro. I'm the Worker Rights Director for the Pomona Economic Opportunity Center. We run the only day labor center in the area. We work with all the day laborers in both Riverside and San Bernardino County. I came to inform the city that today there was another unscrupulous raid targeting workers. U.S. citizens were also arrested. That's not the reason. This is just to inform. The reason why I came is because it's been about 2 months, Mayor Tran, where I believe you sent your staff to talk to me for a meeting regarding the issue of day laborers and about a hiring site in the city of San Bernardino for not just day laborers, but household workers, street vendors, all the workers that we work with. I just spoke to her today, and she has done her due diligence to inform you about the meeting, including the city manager. I would like to remind you, it's been 2 months, Mayor. We would like to have a real meeting with you to talk about a real policy that will benefit workers in San Bernardino and lift up the economy. And I also would like to request a meeting with the city manager, not about that topic, but specifically to talk about the police department. I want to clarify, Mayor, that we don't want to talk with you about the police department. We know that that's the purview of the city manager, but we do want to meet with you about a labor center in the city that will benefit thousands of workers that help clean up the city every day. That's what we want to meet about with you. So please give us the time that we deserve, because we've been coming to this council for years, and we did come close to getting a labor center along with the city about 2-3 years ago, but the site that was offered by the city is not very conducive to quality jobs. So we want to go back to that conversation. I also do want to thank Council Dr. Ortiz. She was saying hi to a lot of folks in the beginning. That says a lot about you, Council. I will be more than happy to meet with you to talk about what day laborers and household workers go through in your district and the entire city. Again, our interest is in improving the economy of the city by creating a labor center where day laborers, domestic household workers, street vendors, and other construction and landscaping workers can also benefit from, because those are our focus industries. These are all industries that are in the economic mobility plan of the city and are within your interest. We have shared interest. Please give us the time, and we will be more than happy to give you ideas and policies around the country of why this improves and helps workers who are cleaning up the city every day. Thank you.
I'll be happy to join your meeting with the mayor.
Thank you.
I just want to, I'll be happy to join your meeting.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify, we want to meet with the city manager separately about the police department, with the mayor only about the hiring side.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Hank Mitchell, Vermont. This is on Oxbow, and I was looking at your agenda, the way it's formatted. Let me get this straight. First, you want to take away the #1 protection that the residents of San Bernardino, the whole city, have in protection against grinding and a possibly corrupt contractor, a developer, anybody who wants to grind and do demolition next door to their house. You got no protection, but if you take this 1,000-foot clearance away, that's their last form of protection they have. Then you want to let the Oxbow perp developers get an award for violating every TUP, building code, construction code, maintenance. It's almost been criminal, the violations that the developer and the line of owners have operated at Oxbow up there. Then you want to charge back to the residents of the city to pay for PR to put lipstick on this pig of a snafu. Then you put the new city manager, I feel sorry for, in task to come up with this PR and take the crap that the city and the developers have been putting on us residents that we're just going to shove right back to him and his representative. That gives you, the council, a skate. That makes you look good because you're dumping on the new city manager. Ms. Everett, I'm sorry for you, believe me. You're giving us 3 choices that the public has not had any input up till now, the study with only 3 minutes to state under time of duress. With their side of the snafu effects that is presented for 5 years, what you have put the residents under or through for 5 years. Council's obviously made up their mind the way the agenda is written up. There's only one moral solution to this, and that is literally pick it up, haul it out, and get it out of there and clean up the soils below. To grind in place would be criminal. Due to the full history of the city council and the staff's participation in this snafu, it's been criminal morally. Morally, it's corrupt, what's been going on. A Roman Empire would say to his troubled council, Mei Dei, Isani es. A vote to grind is a vote for crime. Now I asked Teddy, where did Pacific Palisades and Altadena haul their debris? Out of state. Where did Casa Ramona be? You wanted it hauled away? Not in the city. But Loma Linda, bring it over here to San Bernardino. Hey, it's Purdue. Bring your poo to Purdue, and we'll put it underneath our homes. You know what to do.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Mary J. Montefele. I attend Rodriguez Prep Academy, and today's topic I want to speak about is gun violence. At a recent community peace gathering, I talked about a big problem, gun violence in their neighborhoods. It's really tough to see how often students get caught with drugs or weapons at school. It makes me wonder what they're up to and who they're hanging out with when school's over. My parents and aunties used to tell me about their school fire drills, earthquake drills, and even walkouts when they were kids. But one thing I never heard about was lockdown drills that were created due to many recent school shootings. That's something my generation has had to figure out on our own. On top of that, juvenile crime reports are pretty concerning. Studies show a noticeable jump in juvenile crime on school days, especially between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. This time, right after school, often leaves young people without supervision, making them more likely to get into trouble, including to gun violence. A few examples from recent news are from KTLA 5 News, reported on September 8, 2025. Deputies in San Bernardino arrested a 15-year-old who was already on probation for firearms violation after they found him with a ghost gun. Ideas we'd like to suggest are after-school assistance. More funding towards school programs or city youth programs can get the youth out on the streets feeling busy and important. We can help by advocating for drug-free and weapon-free campuses at school and community events through public speaking, empowering young people to make a difference in their community through rising activist youth. We offer assistance to those youth that would like to be a part of the differences us youth choose to make. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
My name is Bernice Altamirano. Good evening, Mayor Helen Tran, council members, and fellow residents. My name is Bernice, and I would like to share a concern regarding a sanitation of our city streets. I understand this topic has been discussed before, but I appreciate hearing what protocols are currently in place to maintain a cleanliness across San Bernardino. San Bernardino is the heart of our county, and I believe we should set the example for the cleanliness and community pride. I also want to encourage residents to use the helpful resources already available. Vertic allows bulky item pickups with just a phone call, and the city provides free dumps days for unwanted items. These programs are effective only if more residents take advantage of them. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the growing issue of homelessness. I understand it's a complex challenge, but as homelessness increases, so does debris throughout our city. I would appreciate hearing what steps are being taken to support our homeless neighbors while keeping our community clean and safe. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Sorry. Hello all, thank you so much for being here. My name is Richard Hernandez. I live in the 5th Ward. I've been here for 19 years with my wife. She's a Cal State San Bernardino alumni herself. I thank you guys. I'm here to discuss the Oxbow project. I've been here many times before, not this particular location, but to discuss Oxbow. It's dubbed Concrete Mountain by myself on Channel 7 News 5 years ago. This developer decided to dump in our city with the approval of one still signature. We don't know who it was, which is very frustrating for me to see that would transpire amongst you guys. I know particularly it wasn't all you guys there, but that's why I want to bring it up, because we still don't know who that signature was. So they broke the concrete illegally. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It started to begin. AQMD got involved. That's what shut it down. Project was shut down. They brought in a tarp. You guys are all aware of this tarp. It wasn't Bisqueen. It wasn't anything thick. It was just a plastic tarp. They laid it across the whole entire thing. 80-mile-an-hour winds came. Air conditioning units, heating units, plaster and pools were all damaged. My neighbor had to replaster their pool. You that are aware of what it costs to plaster a pool, I mean, there you go. That being said, now not to mention the breathing issues. My son now has a coughing issue. They can't figure out what it is. It's no longer considered asthma. It's just a forever cough. It's very disappointing. I've replaced my whole entire air conditioning unit at my home, along with my heating units. They were all Phyllis-Silica, 100%. Me and my wife, all of us were breathing it in. My concern is that you guys are going to allow people to come in here and do it improperly again, and I do not want that. My knowledge on this is I work for a demolition company. I'm a structural engineer as well, so this is what I've done my whole entire life. You guys, people talk about it used as fill. People talk about all of it. It can be used as fill, that is correct. but this is contaminated. Now we come into a new factor. That building had tires. That building also had batteries. Everyone knows what's in batteries, lithium. So when it melts into the concrete, were the walls included in the footings? We don't know. Were the footings included in the walls? We don't know. You guys say it was tested. What parts were tested? If it was the walls, of course there's not going to be anything. If it's the footing, yes, right? But we don't know what was mixed. Now, they already went up there, started breaking it up. So we have no idea what's now been mixed. You hear how emotional I am because it's my child involved. I coach club soccer in this community. I coach travel baseball in this community. I'm a board member in this community. This community means everything to me. And the kids mean everything. All those fields. Western Regional is right there. You guys got to think about your community, please. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come here and speak to you this evening. In September 12th, I filed a Freedom of Information on Oxbow, and I still haven't received it. They said I may get it around October 20th. It did a whole heck of a lot of good for this meeting. But why are we even here tonight? We're here to discuss. Everything goes down to this tentative track. There's no longer a tentative track up there. It's been terminated. And it's right here in the paperwork that I got off the city's website. And this all took place June. It took place, I'm sorry. This is a real sore subject with me up there because it's been up there for 5 years and we've pleaded with you to do something and you haven't. At the December 12th, 23 Planning Commission meeting, Mary Lander, the acting director of community development, she gave him an extension and told him if it wasn't done by June 21st, 1924, it was terminated. And when you terminate a tentative track, you can't just reopen it the next day. It has to go back to day one and start completely all over. New fees, new permits, new EIRs, new drafting, new everything. So why are we even here tonight talking about Oxbow? You know, when I was coming back from Colton today, because I was shopping over there at Stater Brothers, I noticed that there's a lot of concrete all over the city of San Bernardino. And you guys have allowed that to happen. There was a concrete pile at 2nd and D, and when I called it in, they said they didn't know it. That's just right across the street from City Hall. And you guys didn't know that they were crushing there? Please, think about your citizens and quit playing favors to the developers, because this is a cover-up. If this happened back in '24, why are you guys still working on this project? This is shameful. And the lab report that they did in Redlands, the concrete was already sitting on Oxbow up at the end of the street of Palm. And you guys took it? No. Chris Jensen, which was Public Works Director, she said she couldn't stand by that report because she didn't think it was legal. So there's a whole bunch of things that I've got to say. They've never been good neighbors. They've never done one thing that in the 5 years that the city has asked them to do. So please, alternate 2, get that stuff hauled off of there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Ray Blum. I live in the 5th Ward. My business is in the 3rd Ward, and I attend church in the 6th Ward. I'm embedded in this community. First of all, I want to say I wasn't going to speak on Oxbow. I was here to speak on something else. But when I do speak, I want you to know that whatever you decide, I'm never going to make it personal as leaders, because I know that whatever decision you make, half the room's going to be upset. But I do implore you to not lower the bar for our neighborhoods and to take care of our citizens. The man that spoke before me, I could feel the pain in his heart for his son. And we've got to be connected. We've got to reconnect with our citizens, guys. I know you guys get a lot of slack up there. I'm not here to do that. But I do want to encourage you to do the right thing with Oxbow. Like I said, I want to congratulate the city, and I came to speak life over our city on the State of the City event yesterday. And I believe it's the first one in a couple years. And I want to thank you for doing that. And I think each year it'll get better and better as we get stronger and stronger. With that being said, I am the president of the Downtown Neighborhood Association. I wanted to give an update on what we're doing. We've been building a leadership team. Melissa Melender spoke a couple meetings ago up here. She's one of our leaders. She's been very involved and grew up in the city and is very passionate. I've been blessed to connect with some of the greatest leaders, and I want to share a little bit about what we're doing. We are working on a software that will help us connect. As a neighborhood president, I don't know half of what's going on in our city. There's a lot of good stuff going on. We just don't know. We're working on we have our monthly meetings on the second Thursday of every month. We're moving around different businesses and organizations. I invite all of you to attend. They're from 11:30 to 1, and I believe you're all on our email list. We try to spotlight organizations, individuals that are doing great things, especially businesses in our city. We're kicking off our monthly community cleanups this Saturday, October 18th. We believe, maybe I'm wrong, that it'll be the largest cleanup in San Bernardino history, 7 locations. Over 300 people are committed. We're going to meet at City Hall at 8 a.m. We're inviting more. The city of San Bernardino has been supportive of us. Thank you. Burtek's been supportive. I want to name off some of the businesses that are supporting us. Rosa Maria's up on 40th and Sierra Way will be one of our host sites. Dairy Queen on Highland and Arden will be a host site. State Farm on Baseline and Waterman, and Lowe's Liquidation Center on University and Hallmark. The Wolf's Den on East Street and Hospitality, and Champs Shine and Bright on Arrowhead and Mill. We're being supported, like I said, by the city. Pastors United, the Way World Outreach committed to 100+ members coming out and helping us with the cleanup. I want to invite our city leaders to come out and be a part of that and lead by example. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Henry Nickel, resident of the 5th Ward. Honorable Mayor and City Council, I come to you as a former council member. Around this time, 5 years ago, I got a call from Miss Sky. During that time, we were in the middle of COVID, and I got a call saying there are trucks going up and down Palm dumping concrete. I thought she was exaggerating. I thought she was being hyperbolic. That was my mistake. I waited till the end of the day to go up to Palm Avenue, and sure enough, exactly what she had told me was true. There were trucks going up and down Palm, dumping debris. This isn't concrete, this is debris, with metal sticking out of them. Debris that came from a burnt down warehouse, miles away, not even in our city, being dumped in our ward. I was outraged. I contacted our city manager. I said, we need to have an emergency meeting. Due to the Brown Act, things had to be noticed. We had to take time. By October of that year, I believe it was October 22nd, 2020, we met. Council, a number of you were on the council at that time. And I was honored to win the vote to stop that project. The Sun stated in a headline, "Mounds of broken concrete must be removed." That was 1,800 days ago. The property owner was subject to a $1,000 a day fine. To this day, I'm curious as to how much money was actually collected. That would be about $1.8 million, ladies and gentlemen. That would almost cover the cost of mitigating this site, according to what the city says. What happened? What happened? I implore you, do not repeal Resolution 2020-265. That is a good resolution. It ensures the safety and the security and the health of our residents. Why would you repeal a resolution that prevents the crushing of concrete? I cut concrete in my backyard 2 weekends ago. I had to wear a t-shirt with water covered, and I still got sick. 5 minutes of cutting concrete, I got sick. I couldn't breathe that night. Are you kidding me? repealing this resolution? What is wrong with you? How dare you? You took a sacred oath. You have a responsibility to protect the residents of this city, not to protect one developer. I am pro-development, which is why I believe there must be rules for everyone. Those rules must be followed. And if you violate those rules, you must pay the fines and face the consequences. I implore you, do not repeal Resolution 2020-265. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ron Alvarado, and I'm running for the First Ward Council seat. I'm here once again to speak on the Oxbow demolition debris, which was carelessly dumped in one of our neighborhoods and ignored for far too long. Residents living near that site have reported real health concerns. They see it every day. They live it every day. Yet, there's still been no meaningful action. This isn't just about debris. It's about respect. It's about whether the city of San Bernardino actually represents the people who live here. True leadership is about listening, acting, and standing with the community, not putting ego, politics ahead of people. We still see similar neglect throughout our city, such as the burnt remains of Casa Ramona in the First Ward. These sites aren't just eyesores, they're symbols of what happens when government forgets its purpose, that it's here to serve. Instead of making excuses and blaming previous council members, it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. I want to thank the residents who have refused to let this issue die, who have organized, who are speaking out tonight, and who are demanding accountability. It is their persistence why this is in the discussion again tonight. I hope that we finally see real solutions and visible progress. Let's show our community that their voices matter, that this council values people over politics, action over excuses, and if not, I want to remind the community that there's an election approaching. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Harry Hatch, 7th Ward. What are you doing up there? You don't even have the authority to do this. The LAFCO agreement, which was signed by the city of San Bernardino, with the county of San Bernardino, eliminated our fire department years and years ago. Who looks after the health and safety code and the fire code, all which cover grading, crushing, etc. It's the fire agencies. And who has the fire agency? The county. You do not have jurisdiction. You gave that up. You gave that up with our taxes for property taxes. All that went to the county of San Bernardino. They are the agency that should be making these decisions. Have you even talked to them? I asked our county council, our city council, city attorney, to look into that, to determine whether or not the city even has jurisdiction to make this decision. I think you're just going down the wrong road again. You can't keep doing this over and over and over again. Mr. Nichols was right. It was done once. You might have gotten away with that, but that's their problem. If we have to keep on going and we do that, you have only one course of action, that if you're gonna do it, you're gonna get in trouble anyway. Roll it out of here. Move it. Option 2.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Layla Gamolka, and I'm the Treasurer of the Neighborhood Association Council, as well as the President of the North Park Neighborhood Association. This past Saturday, the Neighborhood Association Council hosted our second annual Nat Community Pickleball Tournament at Paris Hill Park. It was a beautiful day full of fun and community. We had over 70 players vying for medals in 7 different divisions. The park was full of players and their supporters. It was beautiful to see so many people enjoying our park. I'd like to thank the mayor for playing in the tournament. She and her daughter won gold, just so you guys know. I'd like to thank council members Sanchez and Figueroa for coming back to defend their title this year. They defended very well. I think 1-0 matches. But always such a good sport and so much fun, and everyone appreciates you. It just means so much to the Neighborhood Association Council that you guys support us. We really appreciate you guys. I'd like to also thank Vanessa Carter for your help and support. Thank you. And we cannot put on this event without the generous support of our sponsors. I'd like to give my heartfelt thanks to our following sponsors: Yuhaviatum of San Manuel Nation, the City of San Bernardino, Professional Firefighters Local 935, Burtec, Mayor Tran, Chief Goodman, Mike and Ferial Wynn of Arrowhead Country Club, Alta Vista Credit Union, LMNT, Councilmember Kim Knoss, Paris Hill Pickleball, Arrowhead United Way, SoCal Superwash, and Joe Solis. Thank you again, and I hope to see even more of you at the 3rd annual tournament next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chris Gribble. My wife and our 4-month-old daughter live directly down the hill from the Oxbow project on Palm Avenue. We bought our home in 2020 and watched almost immediately as truck after truck went up Palm Avenue dumping load after load of broken concrete. Since then, we've watched the site transform into a growing pile of construction debris. Even after the project was halted, people have continued to dump illegally, adding more waste and spreading the problem. This issue isn't about zoning or procedure, it's about doing what's right after a wrong was done. The city made a mistake in 2020 and now it has the chance to make it right. Allowing grinding would double down on that mistake. Correcting it would show that this council values integrity, accountability, and the people who live here. I'm asking the council to deny the approval for on-site grinding, require the removal of all dumped material, and enforce existing zoning to prevent future industrial use in residential zones. Our neighborhood has endured 5 years of neglect on this issue. Please do not compound that mistake. Protect the residents who trusted the city to uphold its own standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Sharif Awad. I am the new owner of the property. I just bought it last month. We closed on it on September 5th. I don't know the previous owner or the one before him. I know that there was previous owners. I was brought to the deal by my civil engineer. My civil engineer is Suresh, and he is present here. He told me about this property, and we built before 16 homes in the area on Belmont Avenue, track 20043. We did 16 homes in 2023, and we were succeed, and we did very nice project that everybody like in the area. So when I came to this property, I was so excited about it. It has nice view. It is a little bit high. We can do something very nice. The only problem was the concrete. But I didn't mind to buy it and resolve the problem with the concrete. So I am willing to work with the city council on whatever they see it is better. If we crush it inside or if we move it outside. Now, if we move it outside, we will have trucking companies to come and remove it outside. And trips will create probably some noise to the area. Now, later when we start building the houses, we may create also some noise when we bring the trucks to bring the sand and the gravel to do the construction. We are willing to go high speed on this project and submit our plans immediately, and hopefully if we get help from the city, the people, they may live in these houses in the next Christmas of next year. So we are willing to work with the neighbors, with the city, and see what is the best option that they want me to do. We can hold also community meeting for the neighborhood and discuss all the options. But for the construction, we have to bring at least 300 to 400 trucks of sand and gravel to cover the pipes when we do the sewer, underground sewer, to cover the plumbing, the electrical pipes and everything, and also the sand for the foundation. So I think if we crush it on site, we can use the same material, we save the trips of the trucking, we reduce the noise for the area, and I think it can be better. And I'm here to answer any other question anybody may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Lydia Savala. First, my compliments to the city on the choice of Maddich Corporation for the paving and the repaving of Mountain View. It was a Herculean project, and they executed it very efficiently with as little disruption as possible to the residents that live on Mountain View. On another note, I'd like to compliment Councilman Sanchez last meeting for addressing the issue with Mr. Marquez, because I do believe that, and I thought you handled it rather kindly and gently, because I would have been far more harsh. There is a measure of civility that is required in a public forum, and I think that it's sometimes the boundaries get crossed. And I've had a little chat with Mr. Marquez, and I've asked him to be more professional, but I think it's entirely within the right of this council and mayor to ask that he leave if he does not maintain a better level of civility. Sorry about this. Sorry about the sunglasses. They're prescription. I don't have my reading glasses. So I usually discuss animal services, so I am wondering when a new director will be selected. I've got a pretty good pulse on the situation of the population of animals in this city, and I can remember 5 years ago it was not nearly so severe as it is now. We've digressed. Actually, when the police department was running the shelter, they actually did a better job than people gave them credit for. So I'm hoping that you all will soon select a new director with a vision of the future that allows for better disclosure of metrics, because only 50% of the information was being provided on a regular basis. One of the most important numbers to be revealed, that should be revealed on a monthly or at the very minimum on a quarterly basis, is the total animal intake. Because if the total animal intake had been disclosed on a comparative annual basis, you would have seen the red flags would have gone off in 21 and 22 when we escalated. So I do encourage you to select someone soon so we can change our policies. And I admit I'm a little twisted about data, and I'm more than happy to show anyone in animal services how to sort it and analyze it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kimberly Calvin. I want to first thank Public Works and every single city employee that helped to put together the state of the city last night. You all did a fantastic job, and we appreciate that. But I also want to thank all the community members that are coming forth and that are continuing to come forth to express their personal views about the council and the actions that you take. There has been an enormous amount of times that the community has come forth begging and pleading for the council to make the right decisions regarding their lives, their tax dollars. And over again, this is where you fail. And it's not to be forgotten, and it won't be forgotten, because as you can hear, people have been struggling with issues that they have brought forward to you over 5 years ago. But yet, the council, who is the governing body over the city, does not make the right decisions, and you choose to do this over and over again. While yet last night, you put on a performance in attempting to make the community believe that you're working so well together. And I call it a performance because I've sat in closed sessions and I know how you all operate. And I know that in order for 3 council members to repeat the same script over and over, you really were not digging into what another constituent said about being yourself. You were aligning yourselves because it is election season, so you wanted to call out certain things. And I don't know how Councilmember Sanchez was able to call out an appointment that is on the agenda tonight. That, to me, was a violation of all acts. Nevertheless, what you again are hearing tonight is a plea from the people to ask you once again to make the right decisions for their health, for their lives. But what we know is that over and over again, you continue to make the worst ones. But yet you want us to believe that you sit there with the right intentions, that would happen to be what is in the best interest of community. Of community. I think that everybody needs to take a course in actually what that means. Standing with, alongside community. We did not hear that in your speeches last night. And that is what was most disappointing to myself. And when we talk about civility, Councilmember Charette, last night you shared with one of your constituents how much you dislike the mayor. You don't know who people know in the city. But when that information comes back to community members, and definitely ones like myself, yes, I find that very offensive because you just lied to the people. And that is what we're going to continue to do all the way to election season, is that those of you who continue to lie during this season, you cannot do that any longer. Time is up.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Yes. My name is Claire Rieger. I live in Loma Linda, and I live in a university mobile home park. Loma Linda is serviced by animal control in San Bernardino. And of course, I'm addressing the issue of animal rights. Animals, especially cats, if they are not taken care of, they die a slow death. If they're not given food. But now, apparently, I have called several times to the animal control, and because there is a stray animal, and I'm wanting to relocate it, but animal control has stated that they will not pick them up, nor help me trap the animal. They will die if they're not taken care of. Cats will. They're not wild. I have witnessed this. There was an orange tiger cat that came in the mobile home area where I was, and I shooed it away because we're told not to feed them. It came back about several months later, and I shooed it away again, but when it turned around to leave, I was horrified. It was like paper thin. It could hardly walk, and I felt heartbroken that I hadn't gone ahead and fed it. It walked away, of course. My neighbor later saw it walking down the canal, which borders the mobile home park, and she saw it walking down, and that's what happens typically, that they will go off and die. And both of us thought, we took food out there to the canal, but we're sure it just went off and died, and it died a slow death. So I am requesting that there be a change of policy, that animals are better to be humanely euthanized than to just allow to fend for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Les.
The San Bernardino City Council has declared a homeless emergency. The City Council approved the measure yesterday. The declaration enables the city to speed up its implementation of their $20 million homeless action plan. KTLA's Shelby Nelson is live in San Bernardino with the very latest. Shelby.
So that was in 2023. Now we're in what, 2025? We should have been had a homeless shelter built, you know, but I guess they do it around election time to make themselves look like something, you know, instead of just doing it a long time ago. But to Ms. Kim Canas, in the 5th Ward, when are we going to remove those brick walls when you go down the little mini freeway passing the old Castaway restaurant? When are we going to move those brick walls down? And the Oxbow, we should definitely be suing someone. Someone should be getting sued right now for that one. When are we? Oh yeah, and then also, when are we bringing the police to the north end? Because Chief said that we have enough staff to have a police station on the north end. So when are we going to do that? To the third item on the consent calendar, when are we going to have a grant writer right for the City Hall building? That would be kind of cool to get that. Dealing with the property tax, that should have been an open discussion. We should have been hearing some information about that instead of just some being approved. To Helen Tran, you said that you guys had the forensic audit going. When are we going to do the forensic audit? Like I said, when we went bankrupt to present time, and then we also need to audit Old Man Fred and Theodore Sanchez. We really need a clean house. Not to the new council people, but everybody else who was here, we need to clean them out. We need to keep them away. On to the next city council person. Whoever wants to take their job, please take their job. We don't need them no more. I don't see nothing going on, nothing different in San Bernardino downtown. I noticed downtown, it's the outskirts, you know, get in, get out. But besides that, it's no inside of downtown getting revitalized. And then to Juan, I noticed when a re-election time, everybody gets the ballots, everybody gets the information. But when it comes down to you guys bringing in these corporations, you guys don't tell everybody. You guys be like, oh, it's only 5,500 feet. We have to notify people. But then you guys bring in corporations like Tesla, and you see what Tesla is doing in Memphis, and you see what Tesla is doing in the Congo. So Tesla doesn't even need none of our support. They need to stop doing what the hell they doing, first of all. But what else? Yeah, and that's all.
Thank you.
That concludes the speakers, and we have received written comments which have been distributed to the mayor and members of the city council for their review. The comments can also be found on our website attached to the agenda packet.
Okay. Thank you. We will now move on to the consent calendar, items 2 to 9. Mr. City Manager, do you have any pulls from the consent?
I have none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Canas, do you have any polls? Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
No.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
No.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem? Thank you. Councilmember Flores?
None.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette? He stepped up. Okay.
Move to approve.
There's a motion to move. There's a second. Madam City Clerk? Motion by Flores and seconded by Canas. Please use the digital voting. Madam City Clerk, Councilmember Flores is unable to use the digital.
Okay, I'll take a voice vote. What is your vote, Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Okay. and the consent calendar passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will take a 5-minute recess so all the council can come back. Right, at this point.
How did, what?
5-minute recess. Thank you. We are back. It's 6:55, a little more than 5 minutes, so thank you so much for your patience. Okay, we're moving on to discussion items. First one, item number 10, approve a city clerk employment agreement. And let's see. Council members, any comments? Who would like to start?
On which item?
This is the approve a city clerk employment agreement.
Move to approve.
And I will second.
Do you want to? Yeah. Councilwoman Ortiz? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight before us is another employment contract. And before I begin to go over my points, I want to first preface by saying that this has nothing to do with Ms. Lopez. You can remove the name from everything that I'm going to say. 4 years ago when she was appointed, congratulated her. It's not a personal thing. What it is the status quo. What it is, in my opinion, is a continued affront to what we continue to do wrong. And what it does is creates then this problem. When the previous city clerk was leaving the city, former interim city manager Bill Gallardo put an item on the agenda for us to talk about recruiting for a new city clerk. That item was immediately dismissed by the council because they didn't request it. They didn't ask for it. And the council controls who hires, recruits, and discusses the city clerk. So we went with the acting position. Even though during the midst of that we were recruiting for a city manager, we could have put a contract together and done both at the same time as a cost saver. But we didn't do that. We stayed with an interim. When we talk about money, well, we don't want to expend extra funds. The city paid $30,000 this year in a settlement agreement because we withheld public records. So we obviously know that there are issues, procedural issues, act issues. So going out for recruitment and making sure that we are recruiting people who know precisely what to do to make sure and ensure we are not sued for withholding public records seemed like a value. On top of that, none of us requested this item to be put on the agenda. Neither the mayor nor the council asked to hire a city clerk. We furthermore did not ask to have a salary survey conducted so that we could raise the limit of how much we pay someone. All of this conducted through staff. Why do you need a council? What is the purpose of the charter? I don't know yet. In addition, I cannot and will not ever hire someone if I have never even reviewed their resume, which none of us did before the first vote was asked for and counted for. On top of that, I can't not hire you and not seeing your resume, nor ever being able to ask a single question of a candidate. How many of you are out here getting jobs, not submitting resumes, and not taking interviews out of the kindness and goodness of whose heart on the taxpayer's dollar? These are hard things. You know why? Because I really am a process person. Because as my students who are watching tonight are learning, practice and theory are two very interesting things. And your practices create precedences, and your precedences create standards of which other people either accept or challenge you legally. Because how many previous employees have had to leave this city to go get a better opportunity somewhere else? Because the job description requires 7 years of experience, not 4. The current salary is capped, but we're going to raise it to $161,000, and in 6 months, provide an additional 5% to $168,000 a year. When we just months ago asked every department to take a 5% cut and freeze essential hiring for their positions. So don't worry about code enforcement. Don't worry, Public Works, what you need. Animal control, don't even ask, because let's continue to burden these people. Why? Because, the council likes. The council's discretion. That's a problem for me. The city manager's recruitment was hijacked by council. Friday and Sunday nights. Now you don't even get a process. This is what's wrong with San Bernardino. 100%. Now, I want succession planning in this city. I love the idea of succession planning, of building people up to prepare them to take over. It's what we hope for. And sometimes when opportunities come for promotion and you don't quite meet that standard, it sucks. But what it gives us an opportunity to do is to make sure that we are still building upon and going into our employees to make sure they are ready when these opportunities happen. But you don't cut it in half and then give it a $60,000 raise. Just do it right. With an interview and with a frickin' resume, just a resume at hand, instead of what always happens, which are behind the door discussions. And this is nothing more than that. Here we are, doing what we always got to do. And now, it'll probably pass, because why not? Why ever take a moment to stop, to revisit what is now in public? Because God, I love when things come out of closed session and onto an open agenda. Because this is what you guys need to see, what happens behind closed doors. When I love Ray and I appreciate him, but I'm gonna tell you something, you better take everything that happens in this city personally, because this is your money. You want me to go in your pocket and tell you not to take it personally? That is not okay. We have a great opportunity here to recruit in our city. We may have the absolute best person possible in our city, but because of everything I listed, I can't in good faith do it to you, because I can't go along to get along. And I would never ask the residents to allow me to get a job without interviewing, without a resume, and on top of that, give me $60,000, $58,000 raise when we can barely pave your streets, when we can't even hire the essential employees. So, my vote, like I said, it's a process, and there is no process. This is a failed attempt again, and you just get to watch it play out publicly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, first of all, it took everything in me not to interrupt, to dispel all the lies that were just said. But I want to take this chance to apologize to you, Talisha. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'd like to call for the question.
The only lie is what's coming out of your mouth, council member. Every single thing I told you is true.
Please.
Every single thing.
Okay.
It's the beauty of the
Council
public
members,
record.
council members,
I didn't
council
interrupt.
members, council members. Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, so I'd like to read out the economic terms of the contract. So the first are the salary terms. Commencing on the effective date of the contract, the employee's annual base salary will be $161,000. The salary is scheduled to increase to $169,000 beginning April 5th, 2026, subject to a professional evaluation and execution of a written contract amendment. That deviates slightly from what was in the posted agenda packet. Originally, that increase was going to happen January 5th, 2026, without a professional evaluation. So now it is proposed to go up April 5th, 2026, subject to an evaluation and an executed contract amendment. Following that, on August 4th, 2026, and each year thereafter, the employee's annual salary will be automatically increased according to the Consumer Price Index with a maximum increase of 3%. Health insurance. The city clerk will receive a city contribution in accordance with the Executive Compensation and Benefits Plan Resolution. Vehicle allowance. The city clerk shall receive $725 per pay period for use of her personal vehicle for city business. Paid leave. Vacation, sick, administrative, and other. The city clerk shall receive leave and accrue in accordance with the agreement and the Executive Compensation and Benefits Plan Resolution. At-will employee. City clerk shall serve at the will and pleasure of the mayor and city council. Nothing in the employment agreement shall prevent, limit, or otherwise interfere with the right of the city council to suspend from duty, remove from office, or otherwise terminate the services of the employee at any time, at the sole discretion of the mayor and city council. Severance. The city clerk shall be entitled to and receive upon termination a severance payment equivalent to 6 months' base salary plus benefits in effect on her termination date. And lastly, performance evaluation. The city council shall review the city clerk's job performance at least once annually. The city clerk shall remind the city council of its obligations under this section each year and shall work with the city council in finding an appropriate time to place her evaluation on the agenda. The city council may also review the city clerk's performance at other intervals as it deems appropriate. In connection with the review of the city clerk's job performance, the city shall utilize resolution number 94-392 and shall consider a step increase of employees' base annual salary. That concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from? I do have a question. Yes, Councilmember Ortiz.
I just want to ask the city attorney, because you know we love public records. So I'd like to share my email with the public of how we didn't have the resume we received. Not the resume. I don't want to share the resume, but I want to share that the email that we received showing us that I had requested an email. Is that okay to share as long as I don't share the resume? Because I want everybody to understand the time between when the vote was announced, we did not have a resume, and afterwards. Is that okay as long as I don't give the resume to the public?
I don't recall the contents of that email.
Okay. Show it to you first.
Perhaps we could confer offline because I want to ensure that there's no confidential personnel details in that email. Okay. If there are not, then you could release it, but let's confer offline about that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette?
Yeah, thank you. A recruitment certainly is a usual and a good tool to use, but it is not the end-all, be-all. We recently had an acting city manager that didn't even have a master's degree, and some of the people up on this dais were interested in making that person a permanent city manager and did not even have a master's degree and very limited city management experience. Pardon me. It was said that it was put on, or that it was requested that we go to a recruitment process by Bill Gallardo, and that we didn't want that. We didn't want that. It isn't that we didn't want it. We didn't believe we needed it because we had somebody that had been with our city for a long time. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but upwards of 20 years, working in this department, had worked up the ladder, and was recommended by our former city clerk, who was stellar. At best, she was stellar. At least she was stellar. And we lost her. And Talisha is more than qualified, has all of the qualifications necessary, and I've seen resumes that aren't worth the paper they're written on because they're all lies. So a resume isn't necessarily the right thing either. So when you've got someone in your organization that is capable and is qualified and has the experience as being a deputy or an assistant and is able to move into that, there's no reason whatsoever to go out, spend time, effort, and what have you. If you don't have somebody, if you've got, then certainly the right thing to do would be to offer the job and have interviews. But we at the city knew this person. We knew the qualifications she had. We knew the job she had performed in this office or in this department for many, many years. So that is the reason we did not need to go out for any recruitment. And I can also say that I think we've done a lot of recruiting in this city that has not worked out real well. And so I think we should look at some of the recruitments we did, and we believed those, and we interviewed them, and we finally hired them, and how did that work out in some of those many cases? So the question's been called for. I will move approval on this, or has there been a motion? It was a motion or a call for the question? Okay, I'll move approval.
There was already a motion second for the current as is. And Mr. City Attorney clarified the revisions. So would that require, and I guess I need to ask the question.
Who made the motion? Do you agree?
Yes.
Do you agree
yes.
with how I read it?
And I'll
As
second
part of your
that.
motion? Okay.
Or whoever did. That's not important to me.
Any other comments? Councilmember Ortiz?
Yeah, I think Councilman Schmidt makes an amazing point, that to not be happy that someone didn't have a master's degree when it wasn't even required, but will then turn around and take half the experience in a department is the problem. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this is a wonderful person. What matters is resumes matter. Interview questions matter. Understanding what we want in a position matters. And as someone who's been here for 10 months and has had 5 months of experience with a current interim, that's not adequate, sufficient time to make sure that we are doing what's in the best interest of the city. I get it's 16 years of the same old, but here, why do we see the turnover? Why do we watch what's happening? Because this is what it's like to work in the city. How many employees want to keep showing up every day, busting their butt, hoping that they're going to be acknowledged? How many interims right now, animal control, park and recreation, public works, have to go through interviews to become directors? And top of that, get raises. So it is what it is, because it is always what it is. But let's not sit here and disparage someone because they didn't have an optional recommended degree when you require 7 years and you're cutting it in half and giving it a $58,000 raise today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I do have some comments. I have some questions regarding for staff. Ms. Lopez, please know this is not personal. This is about just questions and inquiries about process and so forth. For the job description, is there a verbiage regarding about combination of education and experience under minimum qualification?
I believe there is. Yeah, it's the 7 years or a combination of with education and job experience. And as I understand, with the candidates in front of you, she spent many years in the city clerk's office, not in the city clerk position, obviously, or similar, but doing other things within the city clerk's office.
How many years in the city clerk's office?
Don't know exactly on that.
16.
16. Thank you for that. And sometimes I just want the public to know that the job description does have the caveat for combination of education and experience to make up for the user experience at times, and if they are capable of that, just as a former HR director. I also want to ask, thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for clarifying on the salary piece, because as is what is published in the public on the agenda, I do not agree, because when we're adjusting salary significantly for a position, I asked a question about compaction, about as far as series. So when you have a city clerk, assistant city clerk, deputy city clerk, and so forth going down the line, what are that compaction differences and so forth, and you have to address it, not just one-offs. And one of the things that I want to make sure that staff is looking at is not just one position in the city, that we need to be looking at all position. I understand that we're doing class and comp study right now. Please make sure we fulfill that, because this organization needs to start retaining jobs and employees in the city to do the great work of San Bernardino. And so that was my biggest concern, is that there was a proposed salary and a significant increase, and wish that was done in the budget process or through the class and comp study. But again, and just me speaking as an individual and as the mayor, I do support Ms. Lopez because of years' experience with the city of San Bernardino, and I do believe that she can do the job. But as far as the process, I wish we had a process for the recruitment, because there has been a trust issue with our recruitment process, and that would have helped alleviate that. But again, the majority of the council makes a decision to move things forward, and I'm one person. So I do have a vote into this appointment, and again, with the modification of the salary provision, I will be supporting this appointment tonight. So I just want to make sure that's on the record. Thank you. There's a motion and second with the modification as Mr. City Attorney spoke on the record for the contract. Please call for the votes.
The digital voting is open. Do you have the option on your screen? I can take the voice vote. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember Charette?
Yes.
Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
And Councilmember Ortiz?
No.
And it looks like and Mayor Tran?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 6 to 1.
Ms. City Clerk?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Moving on to item 11, approved funding commitment for Lutheran Social Services San Bernardino Community Wellness Campus with Lutheran Social Service of Southern California and Dignity Moves. Could we begin with the staff's presentation?
I'd like to move to approve.
There's a motion and second. Any comments?
The only comment I have, and I know we touched upon this in the agenda review, we have committed significant amount of our ARPA allocations to this project. With this item that we may pass tonight, it is at now $6.7 million to be exact. I just want to make sure that we have serious discussions in regards to the ownership of beds with this project. I think that is necessary. I know it's been a conversation that we've had with our Deputy Director of Housing and Homelessness, and that importance of the City of San Bernardino actually having that availability of accessible beds. So I do hope that we can move on that conversation with Lutheran Services fairly quickly, being that we are possibly allocating these funding to this project.
Yes, so one of the provisions of the regulatory and loan agreement will be the prioritization of 24 beds for the City of San Bernardino's outreach teams.
If maybe we can have a discussion again, being that we are increasing the funding that we are allocating to this project, I would like to see more.
It was based on like the pro rata share of the funding, because the total project cost is 32, and we've allocated 6.7.
Understand. Again, I would like to have that discussion if we can allocate more.
Yes, these can be, would you like, Councilmember, to make this approval contingent upon successfully increasing that, or do you want just to encourage staff to have those conversations?
I would encourage staff to have those conversations.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Can I need clarification on what were you just asked to do?
I guess negotiate more prioritized beds.
In the middle of this?
We're approving this tonight. But we want to direct staff to continue conversations to aggressively seek out a larger number of beds from this facility. Total of what, 200? Is it 180? How many is it? Beds total?
140?
200.
200, right?
total.
200 total, yeah. And if we can increase, that's always, that's always to our benefit. And so-
Again, we're increasing the amount of funding. With this option that we are going with the discussion item tonight, we're increasing 1.7 million of our ARPA allocations to this project, increasing it from 5 million to 6.7 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we should clarify that that is correct. So the whole campus has the 200, but the new build is only 140. So we're taking pretty much a lion's share of the beds.
But the 1.7 isn't ARPA though, is it?
No.
No, this
No,
is
it's
That's
going to
a
be
PLH
PLHA.
funding?
Yeah.
Again, if there is opportunity for discussion to increase the prioritized beds, it is a necessity in this city that we have access to beds when we are trying to remedy the homeless situation on our streets. So all I am saying is it warrants a discussion if we are able to have prioritized beds for the city of San Bernardino. We have funded a lot of allocation of our city funding, our taxpayer money, to our coast team. We have allocations that we just recently approved for the Salvation Army for outreach. But what I constantly hear is there's nowhere for the homeless individuals to go. We do not have open beds. I have a report that I received from our city manager that says we do not have bed availability. So I think it warrants a discussion is if there is any availability to have more prioritized beds with this project that we're allocating $6.7 million of our funding to, why not?
Yeah, Councilmember Canas, I just wanted to add one thing. So with the with the Lutheran Social Services, this addition of 140 beds, the city will still have access to those 140 beds, but specifically, this provision will allow 24 beds to be identified regardless of the situation.
I completely understand that. Again, I'm really wanting us to increase the prioritized beds for the city of San Bernardino. If we have any possible way of achieving that through this agreement, again, it's a discussion. I'm not making this item contingent upon the increase of beds, but I would like that discussion to be had. Again, we're allocating $6.7 million of our city funds. It warrants a discussion just to make sure that we have the necessary bed availability to remedy the homeless problem that we are facing. It is a crisis on our streets.
Mr. City Manager.
Councilmember Canas, I understand exactly what you're asking, and unless the council disagrees with you, we will take that back.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
Yeah, I mean, we're co-applicants on this application, so we're kind of tied in for this no matter what. And so I just want to, make sure we're having reasonable expectations, because there's a lot of conversation around going after other people's beds when we control 100 of the beds we have not built ourselves. So I just want to, because, now this is the public conversation, we want to make sure that this is built. And so no matter what, though, we have a financial obligation to see this through, whether they agree to it or not. Okay, just making sure. We didn't change anything on that. All right, thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion, a second. Councilmember Canas?
Yeah, so again, I want to clarify. We are not asking for any of the existing agreements to be changed. We're asking for discussion to be had. It would not impact this discussion item or the approval of this discussion item. I want to make that very clear. In addition, I would like to ask, how many current prioritized beds does the city of San Bernardino have currently?
We have 0 prioritized beds, which is why we had to utilize.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion, second. Please call for the votes, or use your digital voting, please. Madam City Clerk, Mayor Pro Tem, screen's not popping up.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez, your vote?
Yes, twice.
And Councilmember Canas? Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. Moving on to item 12, Oxbow debris removal, 6920 Palm Avenue. Could we begin with the staff's presentation?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight, we would like to provide you with some of the information that have been gathered. Just to kind of give you my perspective. When I came into the city and joined the Department of Community Development, one of the biggest folders on my desk was the Oxbow project. Everybody said, Oxbow, Oxbow. What is this Oxbow? It would explain to me that it's a pile of rubble that was moved from one location to the other, and it's been a source of concern in that neighborhood. I watched the city council videos and the meetings, and I saw the interaction between staff trying to present this information to the city council, and staff did not have any valid backup information to support whatever position they were espousing to the city council. And I came to the conclusion that the best way for us to provide information to the council to be transparent, so that it is not my recommendation or the recommendation of the property owner or the recommendation of whoever, it is an independent opinion. I spent money to find a consultant. They wrote a report, and tonight I'm going to present you with the report that they wrote. The consultant is in-house tonight to kind of answer any questions you may have regarding this project, because I know how controversial it has been in this community. So this is the site in question. It is the undeveloped site, kind of northwest area of that map you're looking at. This is before the rubble. This is actually a Google Earth map. You could see the surrounding residential development. Can you help, Mr. IT? So it was tentative tract map 16794 is what basically allowed this subdivision to take place. It looks like my clicker. This is a view of the rubble in question. As you could see how kind of disruptive it looks on that site. And this is the location of the project, looking at the neighborhood itself. You could see the shape of the property. And from a regional perspective, you could see it's their little kind of oblong-shaped, not really triangular, where it says project site. That is where this project sits. So background. In 2009, the Oxbow development was approved by the City of San Bernardino on the tract map 16794. It was an existing 18.45 acre parcel. The subdivision would allow for 44 single-family homes on lots with minimum size of about 10,000 square feet. In July of 2020. So the information I'm giving you in this background section of this report comes out of grand jury testimony. So this is not information that was made up. This actually, somebody actually sat down under oath to give this information. In July of 2020, the owner submitted a TUP to allow the stockpile of materials for future grading of the site. That was the intent. The materials comprised of about 60,000 tons of concrete, and it took about 3,000 trucks, which originated from a demolished Amazon warehouse building at 2255 Lagonia in Redlands. This is the map of the subdivision, as you could see. So you have one way in and a second way out of the project itself. So in July of 2020, the then project owner, I talked about the CUP earlier. On August 4, 2020, the Public Works Department issued a haul permit to actually haul that waste to the project site for that purpose that was stipulated. In 2020, the City Council adopted Resolution 2020-265 on October 21. Basically, to summarize, this particular resolution would prohibit crushing of concrete materials, et cetera, within 1,000 feet of residentially zoned property. So, as I stated earlier, with the big bundle of paperwork in front of me, I reached out to CSG Consultants to provide a comprehensive analysis of options available to the city for the removal of the Oxbow debris. We did not give the consultant a specific direction. Find us which option is the best. CSG teamed up with Kimley Horn, and they did some pretty thorough analysis of what options would be best environmentally. Politically, totally different, but environmentally. So they came up with 3 alternatives. Alternative 1 would result in the material being hauled off-site as either processed or unprocessed concrete. This would require truck hauling trips to occur along Palm Avenue. Due to proximity of Palm Avenue to elementary school, the report recommended that the hauling operation for alternatives 1 and 2 occur during the school's summer recess session, which is approximately June or early August of any year that was selected. Alternative 1 involves crushing of the concrete debris on site, then hauling the processed concrete off-site to a recycling center. And this alternative is a variant of alternative 3, which is basically crush the concrete on site and use the concrete on site. And then there's alternative 1 and 1.1, which talks about the number of truck trips, the number of days it would take, 38 working days to complete. Alternative 1.2, using the use of single-ended dump trucks, which would take approximately 35 working days. And so these are some of the type of equipment mentioned. The picture to the right is a tool that will be used to break the concrete into manageable bits. The truck to the left is a single loaded truck which would haul the debris off the property if that alternative is selected. Alternative 1.2 includes the use of single-end dump trucks, which would take approximately 35 working days, 81 loads, 81 loaded and 81 empty. Alternative 2 involves the hauling of the unprocessed concrete debris off-site to a processing recycling location in the city of Rialto. The unprocessed concrete is anticipated to contain approximately 42,000 cubic yards of material. Therefore, it would take longer to remove the debris from the project site than the processed concrete would contain approximately 33,000 cubic yards of material if it was unprocessed and if it was processed. 42,000 cubic yards unprocessed, 33,000 cubic yards if the material is processed. The report also talks about the use of street sweepers. So as each truck is loading debris, street sweepers are recommended to go and basically sweep any kind of debris, dust, gravel, remnants, or whatever of the streets. And so we're talking about alternative 2.1, removing the entire concrete debris pile over one summer recess session. So the report not only talks about what is possible, the report also looks at, if we do it, when is the best time to do it? Some of the equipment that would be used to the right is something that we use to scrape material and put it into a crushing machine. And the picture to the left is a bobtail, which carriers could be attached to the end to kind of haul material off the site. I'm going to go to alternative 3. So alternative 3 is a variant of alternative 1. This alternative basically says, upon all the analysis that is available, this is the best environmental option. It is the one that will generate the least amount of negative impacts to the environment because it eliminates the number of trucks that will be traveling down Palm Avenue. And as you could see, the analysis did show that quite a few number of trucks will be going through there. And the danger of them operating when school is in session led the consultants to conclude that it should be done during the summer. So if it was done during the summer, it would take at least 2 summer sessions if we were going to move all that debris off the property. So we talked about crushing on site. The recommended crushing equipment is what you're looking at. I think it's called a Loco Track 969 or something of that nature. But the next slide here actually represents that particular truck doing the crushing. Thank you. So if alternative 3 is selected as the preferred option, there's a remediation plan that has been recommended. So not only are we recommending that alternative 3 be utilized, there's also a remediation plan that goes along with it, which means we have to plan the time of day, the time of the year, the time of the month, and also for every crushing activity, it is not the fire department, it is not the police department, it is the air quality management district. So I've listened to people opine that the fire department should be doing this. AQMD issues crushing permits, and they would monitor that operation when it begins. But we have to coordinate with the property owner as to when that actually would take place. So the analysis, the report went into air quality. They analyzed each particular scenario. Alternative 1, what is the impact on air quality? Alternative 2, what is the impact on air quality, et cetera, and, you know, kind of looking at what some of the recommendations are. So based on air quality modeling analyzed in section 3.1 and the table, none of the proposed alternatives would exceed a South Coast AQMD threshold regarding emissions of criteria pollutants. So which means nothing coming out of this debris is going to exceed Air Quality Management District's criteria for pollutants. Health risk. Based on the calculations and the health risk assessment, none of the alternatives will generate THC exposure-related cancer risk or exceedance of AQMD's thresholds. So again, whatever happens at this particular facility would be monitored by the AQMD, and reports have been done analyzing the concrete in 2020 and also the concrete in 2025. And as we go deeper into this report, you would find what some of the conclusions and recommendations are. They also did a noise analysis. You heard what that machine would sound like when crushing activities are taking place on the property. That particular machine is designed to crush in urban settings. It's designed to crush in residential areas because it is not as noise intrusive as some of the other machines that are out there. Financially, it is our obligation to let the City Council know how much this is costing us. For the analysis itself, with all the recommendations, it was $78,000. We recently commissioned another test of the materials plus the soil. That is an additional $13,500. And there's an additional cost on top of this, which is the money we have to pay for the consultant to actually show up this evening to attend the City Council meeting. So what you're looking at are some of the test results. I'm going to skip through some of those technical things. Just to let you know, this is how they took samples. They took 10 concrete samples. They collect and analyze for volatile organic compounds, none of which were determined to contain amounts of any compounds that were above the acceptable threshold that is established by Air Quality Management District. So there might be traces of certain volatile organic compounds. Some of those actually occur naturally in the soil. And the conclusion, which is highlighted, is the amount of chromium which the 3 aforementioned samples was determined to be below the actual detection limit. So, yeah, it would have traces of chromium, but having chromium doesn't necessarily mean that this is actually a health risk. There are certain tolerances that are built into these types of analysis. And I'm doing this for transparency purposes so that, somebody doesn't say, oh, well, we're going to do a Public Records Act and we want to get all the results that you have. I'm really putting it out there so that everybody can see. And additional lab results, which were showed all the simple elements that were found. Some of them are found in nature, and it basically shows that they are at very, very limited levels, which should not be of any, generate any health concerns. So I'm going to skip, I'm going to go to the conclusion. So in conclusion, we are recommending that the Mayor and the City Council take the following actions. Adopt a resolution, rescinding Resolution 2020-2025. If alternative 3 is selected, we have to rescind a resolution that prohibits crushing within 1,000 feet of residentially zoned property. Review the 3 alternatives in the Oxbow debris report, select alternative 3, and then adopt another resolution ratifying that you actually selected alternative 3. And then, let's see, if the alternative 3 is selected by the City Council, that the local truck Urban LT96, which I showed you the video of earlier and the picture, be used to minimize dust emissions and noise. So during the operation, there will be tenting so that whatever it is that's been crushed doesn't get blown into the environment. Also, AQMD will be present during that operation. And the city manager recommends that the developer and the city work with the community on the timing of the operation. So they're just not going to wake up one day and say, yes, we're just going to go there and crush. Before any activities begin, we're going to sit down with members of the community and figure out what is the best time to do it. And then direct the city manager or designate to prepare a public outreach program for the residents of Ward 5 regarding the removal of the Oxbow debris. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Comments from council members? Councilmember Canas?
Just a question. So I know you listed the amount of truck trips as far as loads, unloads. I believe on one previous backup agenda, I saw the actual total of truck trips quantified. I don't see it on this one. Can you just clarify for alternative one, how many truck trips total would be taken with that option?
Oh, let me quickly go there because I'm going off the.
Is it?
Councilmember Charette, can you put yourself on mic if you would like to bring that up so we can all hear?
Well, I did the math if I did it right, and I could have missed something, but it shows, I say 38 days, if we're at 1.1, alternative 1.1, 38 working days, I guess you take times the 162 truckloads per day equals 5,670. Is that the question you're asking?
It is, yes. Is
yes.
That, okay. So that's
That's
for,
one thing I can do is multiply with the help of a phone.
I appreciate that. So that's 5,600 truck trips. And then for alternative two, if you wouldn't mind.
It's the same.
No, that alternative two is different because we're doing a different process. That one incorporates what leaving.
So, yeah, there are two scenarios for alternative two,
Yeah, so alternative
processed
two,
and the processed concrete. For
so
the
if you
unprocessed
don't
concrete.
mind, yeah, because this is alternative two involves longer working days, 72 working days. So I would assume, is that more truck trips?
Yes.
Okay, so that's more, so we'll say it's over 5,600 truck trips for alternative two.
Absolutely.
And then the owner mentioned that, let's say we haul this away, whether it's option one or alternative one or alternative two, he would then in turn have to bring material back,
Yes.
causing additional truck trips. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The fill to achieve the grading of the site, they would have to import fill to the site. So it seems kind of redundant that you're taking dirt off and then you're going to bring dirt back. So you're doubling the trip, and it actually makes the impacts double than single. If we crush on site, at least we use some of that on the project site for grading purposes or whatever other purposes there are. And if additional dirt has to be imported, it is not as significant an amount as it would be if we didn't have anything on the site at all. And as I read earlier, I think that was the intention. Now, whether or not the bringing in that particular type of material to the site at the time was the best option, that is a decision that has already been made. What we're here today to resolve is how do we get rid of this once and for all, and we've spent a significant amount of money to have third-party, unbiased groups tell us which option is the best.
No, and I couldn't agree more. And for me, I am a resident, obviously, of the 5th Ward. I live right down the street from the pile. And it is an unfortunate situation. I'm the third council person to sit in the seat as that pile of rubble has sat there. I think at this point, that's what we really are focused on, is how to remedy this situation.
Yes.
That's been longstanding now for well over 5 years. The pile should have never been brought
Nope.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that, but here we are. So we do have to find the best solution on how we can move forward and remedy the cards that we've been dealt.
Absolutely.
So we've mentioned now the study that we've paid now almost $100,000 as far as testing of not only the concrete itself, but the soil as well. I just want to clarify, we've had to date now 3 studies. One from the actual, I think it was Greenleaf Engineering, that was required upon the actual moving the rubble from the Amazon site to the current site location on Palm Avenue. And then in addition to that, 2 additional studies have been conducted. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So now to date, we've had three studies done. Of those 3 studies done, the results were conclusive as
Yes.
well. I want to just confirm. Did any of those studies have any variations? Or were they pretty similar as far as the findings?
The reports basically concluded that whatever contaminants, quote unquote, that were found in the rubble, they were not significant health risks, and they were not higher than the threshold that has been set by the Air Quality Management District.
And this was in all 3 testings?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So every single test was conclusive, and all 3 testing basically the results were pretty much the same.
Yes.
With alternative, number 3, you mentioned Air Quality Management District. I want to just confirm the actual machines that you showed the video of. Air Quality Management District, they are responsible for the actual permitting of those machines, correct?
Yes.
So they would not issue a permit unless they feel that that machine is environmentally sound. And you mentioned that it is actually approved to be utilized in residential settings. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of similar to when you see the Highway Patrol pull trucks over off the road and basically inspect the brakes. It would be a similar process. For any of those machines to be used on a project site at a location, AQMD would have to do their own thorough analysis of how safe that particular machine is. If it's old, parts have to be replaced, but they wouldn't risk their reputation to recommend the use of a particular machine in a residential setting.
Got it. Thank you. My next question in regards to the Air Quality Management District and their involvement, if you could kind of just opine with these 3 studies that were done, was it the consultant that was retained? How did they interact with Air Quality Management District to obtain the results that we see?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Merrill.
So the city, in order to do the analysis, council member, we retain a company that specializes in doing the sampling at the sites. There are EPA protocols that are used whenever you do any kind of soil or water sampling. And so the company conducted sampling. They follow a certain protocol in terms of how they collect the sample in order to minimize any kind of contamination or any kind of external effect to that. In the studies, they did do 10 samples of the concrete. The most recent one that I'm familiar with did 10 samples of the concrete, 10 samples of the soil. And so they ran through the sampling process. And again, the labs are all certified by the state. They have to follow a standardized testing protocol that is issued by the EPA, approved. Otherwise, they can lose their certification if they don't follow that kind of thing. And so the results that have been presented to you indicate that there has been no chemical or any kind of materials there that would cause any kind of a health or safety issue.
Got it. So I really want to thank all staff for this, especially because you didn't just present one alternative, you actually presented alternatives to the alternative. In addition, 3 studies were completed to ensure the toxicology studies were not only comprehensive, but we repeated it recently to ensure that nothing had changed. So thank you for taking the time, $100,000 put into this to ensure the safety of us residents. So I do want to say thank you for that. For alternative 3, there was mentioned a mitigation plan. Can you kind of opine a little bit more in regards to what would that look like?
Councilmember Canals, I'm going to have to invite our consultant to the podium to discuss what a typical remediation plan would be. And Ace?
Good evening, Council. Ace Melissus with Kimley Horn. I prepared the air quality analysis for the various options. In terms of what would be involved in the mitigation plan, using, the correct equipment would be used. This equipment that's being recommended has an enclosed crusher unit, so that prevents dust from escaping. There's also sprayers that keep the dust down. There would be other, like the street sweepers that were mentioned would be part of that mitigation plan, keeping the dust off the roads so it doesn't get re-entrained back into the, to the air and the atmosphere. Covering any stockpiles with tarps, something that would be monitored, and better quality tarps than what has been used historically would be required. And those types of coverings would be, should be checked, after any storm events, any wind events, and, just periodically checked for any wear and tear. So those are some of the, suppression techniques that would be used to keep the dust down.
Thank you. One thing I would like to ask, and this would be an ask of the new owner of the Oxbow site. You mentioned some of the remediation steps that are taken to kind of contain the pile, which is the tarping of the actual concrete. Obviously, at this point, we don't know the timeline from today to when the new owner would be actually moving into the phase of actual building the new homes. One of the points of contention is that the pile has not been covered as it should for the past 5 years, I would say. I think at one point it was covered, and I will say, unfortunately, because we do have treacherous winds in the Vermont area. In addition, there is also the challenge, and we do have a lot of homeless activity, so I was surprised that some winds, some of the homeless activity that is quite prevalent that do unfortunately tear up the tarping and whatnot. But the onus is still on the owner to ensure that concrete is covered. So I would like to make sure that within the discussions that we're having regarding the local mitigation plan, I don't know if there's some kind of maybe contractual obligation, something that we can really hold their feet to ensure that in the time frame that it's taking between now and him to be able to actually build the house, that we do ensure that the appropriate measures are taken to remedy any negative ramifications of that concrete pile to the surrounding area.
Councilmember Canals, that is a very important component of this process. I think, as we've seen, how quickly things get weathered. I've seen pictures of that mound covered, and I've seen pictures as the covering got shredded bit by bit. But I think the biggest challenge that this project has actually suffered is the rapid change in ownership. I mean, the first owner, the second owner, the third, and I think Awad is the fourth owner that I'm aware of, and each person, they understand the pile is there, they understand the situation, but taking their responsibility of actually doing something about it has been a challenge. Now that we have a new owner who is willing to work with staff, I think this is an opportunity for us to explore all the possibilities that there are. That in the meantime, as we work through the process, and the rubble is still there, let's do something about covering it. There was an incident that happened on the property over a couple of weekends ago. I got an email about it. So people who actually wanted to go to the mountains for trekking or whatever were actually gathering on the site itself. So he's going to put a gate to kind of keep people out. And I think part of the problem that I think the community has also experienced is dumping, not just the dumping from the real Oxbow dump that came out of Lagonia, but also people who just go there, pile, vacant property, they dump things, and nobody knows what is getting dumped out there. So that is why it's important to actually do that contamination test. And the results did show that there's nothing really significant. Lead was tested, asbestos was tested, and they both, were not something that was above the threshold for AQMD purposes.
For the owner, I don't see if he's still present, but do we have,
He's still here.
thank you. Depending on what the outcome is tonight, I know I can't say what it may be or may not be, but can you maybe give an estimated timeline of when you would be moving forward with the actual home building?
Okay, most of the plans were done and submitted to the city, the final map, the grading, the street improvement, the sewer, the water. So if we get the approval, we will start it immediately. If we get the approval for the grading this week or next week, we are going to start it immediately. If we don't get the approval and they want us to do something regarding the big pile, we can cover it. We can discuss any option the city wants us to do with it. At the meantime, we start putting the fence. I know the people, they use it as a park. They put their trucks there and they go to the mountain. We want to prevent them from doing that. So tomorrow I am going to take like concrete blocks that we handle it with the forklift and put it at the entrance to prevent anybody from going inside and continue fencing the property. And we can put screen on the fence to try to minimize any dust. Now, we are going to put a sign on the property with our name and our phone number and telling the neighbors that we are going to do the grading and we are going to control the dust. And if anybody see any dust coming from the site, they can contact us directly and we will have to act immediately. If we don't, the phone number for AQMD will be there. So if we don't respond immediately, they can contact AQMD and file the complaint about it.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. When we do the grading, we always have our water trucks over there. So the best way to minimize the dust is to spray water. We keep spraying water to keep the dust from going to the neighbors.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
If you want, I can stay here to answer any other question.
Okay. I don't know if other council will have questions, but my last question is, of the options that were surveyed or studied, I should say, of all the alternatives, I want to just confirm the most environmentally safe option, which was
3.
Alternative 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
We could have saved $100,000 if you would have just asked the people who showed up here tonight what option they wanted. But let's do it after the fact. In 2020, the former Community and Economic Development Director handed me the environmental report that was commissioned and told me the city cannot stand by it. They told the people in Hinckley to drink the water. And then we saw what Aaron Brockovich did out there. So as far as the idea that everything is safe, everything's fine, I have a real problem with that. Because it's a slap in the face to the community to pretend like you're dealing with concrete when you have a burned out Amazon warehouse sitting at the top of the 5th Ward. And what I've done for 5 years is pull every public record I could find. And this is what's in that rubble. This is what burned. And this is in the fire report, the assessment report from the city of Redlands. books, CDs, DVDs, toys, electronics, kitchen products, home improvement materials, baby products, musical instruments, video games, automobile supplies, grocery, health and personal care, lawn and garden, office supplies, personal computers, pet supplies, sporting goods, apparels, shoes, generators, commercial building accessories, vehicle parts, and mattresses. That was all in the fire. It took a week for that fire to be put out because of how hot it was burning with everything inside of it. And you can go on my Facebook and see what it looked like while they were demoing it, because it only cost a permit of $455 to demo that entire spot out of the city of Redlands and then bring it over here and haul it. So we're not just talking about a pile of rubble. And the people that have had to live next to this for 5 years have been breathing this stuff in. And we're just acting like we're looking environmentally concerned about trucks. You don't even have truck routes in this city. You could drive 5,000 trucks up and down Palm Avenue every single day with no restriction. And now we care about kids in schools? Where were we when they were driving up the hill? Where are we every single day? And understand, this is 5 years. 5 years of watching how the city continues to make excuses and permits. Sir back there talking about the permits. Oh, I got your permits too. Your haul permits, how the city allowed first only dirt to be transported on August 4th of 2020, and then some magic, nobody knows who signed it because the applicant did it on September 9, 2020, then changed the permit to allow for broken concrete. And the number of emails that John Valdivia was on, not to mention that the Planning Commission met on this topic at least 4 times in the previous years, and every single time refused to allow crushing and grinding in the city of San Bernardino. We would literally have to change the way that we do things to allow this. But what I really love the most, because the fun thing about this city is we do the right thing until we decide we don't want to do the right thing sometimes. And as much as everybody hates recordings and public records, those are my bread and butter. Because we filed an abatement warrant. We went to court. We literally went and had affidavits filed so we could get an abatement warrant, which we were awarded. And you know what they said? The previous Economic Development Director said, Mike Huntley, that the unlawful conditions that he identified at that subject property pose a significant risk to the life, health, and safety of the residential community within 1,000 feet of that subject property, as well as the general public, and must be abated immediately. It doesn't say that this is kind of risky. It doesn't say, hey, don't worry about it, all the ground levels are completely fine and there's no issue. This says in the city filed a court document that it posed a significant risk, and you got kids coughing? And we would ever think, let's open ourselves to any type of additional liability, any more than we've already put ourselves in, to grind stuff up and put it into the atmosphere. And don't even talk to me about trucks with a number of warehouses that have been allowed to be built in the city at up and down Cajon, because that level of pollution versus breathing in silica dust are 2 completely different things. So why would we ever entertain that? For a developer? Well, hey, bud, I appreciate that you want to build in San Bernardino. I want you to build in San Bernardino, but not at the cost of any resident, because that property, as Gabriel has said, continually switched hands. And you know what the city did? Nothing. Talk about plastic. How long has that plastic been blowing down that hill? For years now. Mitigating, holding anybody responsible for blight, for overgrowth, like Henry Nichols said. What happened to all the fines and fees? Nothing. Because why prioritize the residents of the city of San Bernardino? Why ever just make them first when we can figure out how to profit and make something go away, and now crush and grind it and leave it for a property that doesn't have a TUP and the tentative tract map expired? This is ridiculous. Why wouldn't we just pick it up, put it in trucks, have it properly recycled. Let him be whatever he needs to do to get his stuff up and down there. I don't care if you got to drive an extra 10 trucks to make sure that what you build your homes on, what the homes that our future residents in the city of San Bernardino will live on, is good. That what we did was right by them. And that the residents who are currently there know that we just did the right thing. Because that's all it takes, is just to do the right thing. Crushing and grinding is a slap in the face to the residents who have had to endure this and the city at large, because you've already said it. And residents, I will make sure you have a copy of our abatement warrant that we filed in court that said that this posed a significant risk to your life, health, and safety within 1,000 feet. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Madam Mayor, just a point of correction. Mr. Japshe, our city engineer, is going to discuss the expiration of the map.
Thank you, Gabriel. Tentative map, if it expires, then they can have to go through the entire process all over again and apply for tentative map, and then bring it to the city council. 2 years for tentative map, and then once you approve it, is good also for 2 additional years.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Councilmember
Yes, can you
Canals?
confirm the current status of the tentative track map for that site?
He just talked about it. It's good for additional.
Yeah, if it expired in, I heard previously it was expired 2 years ago. Sharif, do you have your engineer here?
Yes.
Siraj, can
Yes,
he step
sorry.
to the podium if possible?
So, you just need confirmation, is it or isn't it?
If
expired?
once the planning commission approves it, and within 2 years, it expires, yes. So Suraj is the civil engineer who submitted that plan, and he will speak directly on that item.
Yeah, I'm Suresh Dudaya from ST Engineering and Associates in San Bernardino. I was not the original engineer on the project when Oxbow was the property owner. There was another engineer that processed the tentative track map, and then subsequent to that, the improvement plans were submitted. Unfortunately, the original engineer passed away, and I was brought in by Aberdeen developers when they bought the property, and the tentative map was given extensions according to the Subdivision Map Act. So the map, and then we finalized the map, and it went through the plan check process. The Subdivision Map Act permits the map was found substantially in compliance with the Subdivision Map Act, subject to the approval of the mayor and the common council, and that's where it stands today. All the improvement plans have been prepared and plan checked, and it's been processed by the city engineer's office. So the final map is ready, and I was also the engineer for Sharif Awad, who built a project of 16 homes on Belmont Avenue. And so I'm familiar with Sharif and how he operates, and that's why I encouraged him to come into this project. And we worked extensively with Mr. Elliott and the city engineer in the last 18 to 24 months to bring this project to a completion so that we don't need to. And Mr. Elliott took a lot of initiative, and so as the city engineer, to bring this project to a completion, post the necessary bonds to satisfy the city, and to give assurance to the community that instead of prolonging this issue, we have to bring it to some kind of a conclusion, subject to the recommendations of the consultants that the city has hired. And we are today at this point where the developer is ready to post the bonds, he is ready to work with the staff and proceed towards construction of 43 single-family homes, which will be in the $1 million price bracket, and which will enhance the entire community of the Verdmont area instead of prolonging this issue.
So what I'm looking at from the cities is from September 18th, 2021. It says right here expired. The expiration date, June 21st, 2024. was the extension. And then you have land development, status is expired on Palm Avenue, and the parcel map and the parcel map number. So I can show those to you. So.
Councilmember Ortiz, once a final map has been, so a map process goes from tentative to final. So between the tentative stage and the final stage, there are certain things that have to be done. The only thing left to be done here is a posting of bonds. So the map has not expired.
So my understanding is they did not post their bonds in time, and that this tentative tract map was never finalized. So I think I want to see the records.
Sure.
Because, because what I'm hearing and what is at the meetings and in the minutes and what's being posted online are two very different things.
Yeah.
And regardless, it still doesn't allow you to build houses on a burned up warehouse. So but what I'm saying is I understand that they've got a lot going on. This is very different. I mean, I have all the properties of how many people have turned this over hand by hand by hand. Why we continue to allow this property to sell and not put a lien on it and not have already cleaned this up, I don't know. But none of that is our problem. None of that. Nobody wanting to build any homes up there is our problem, when our true problem is that we have residents living next to a burned up Amazon warehouse that was dumped here illegally. And so I would have loved for the city to go first to the residents and just ask them for once, what do you guys want? But we didn't do that. I appreciate that there is an option on there to do the right thing, which is to haul this stuff away, mitigate it during the school year, so that we can, not have so much exposure with the kids and coordinate that. But I can't stand is the political amnesia, and I can't stand the rewriting of what happens here, and we just play it off like, oops, our bad. We're just gonna move forward. We can't keep moving forward if you don't address the problems in the past, because what stops this from happening here ever again?
Yeah. Councilmember Ortiz, most of those people whose names you would find on those documents no longer work for the city. They're gone. The records that I have, I searched through testimony given during a grand jury session. I have no interest in manipulating information. I am presenting information that I know to be true. I also know that regardless of how the debris got onto the site, this is an opportunity to get rid of that. And the easiest and most environmentally sensitive way to do it is to crush on site with a remediation plan under the aegis of the Air Quality Management District.
No, what matters is what the residents are asking us to do for them. I've heard the city give a lot of recommendations on what benefits the city. But what the residents of the 5th Ward came here tonight and told us was that they want us to pick this stuff up and haul it away and not expose them to anything. And that is worth more than anything else, because we're not elected by city employees. We're elected by the residents of the city of San Bernardino. And at the end of the day, while I appreciate what you're doing, I've heard this all before. I've heard it all before, and you know what? No one ever has to be responsible around here. No one has to be accountable for what they do. God forbid, right? This is the city of San Bernardino. It's why good people don't last and bad people get busted. That's it. So, Gabriel, I appreciate you and I understand your position, but I also have the testimony, that declaration in court by a guy that was sitting right where you are, who told us this was a risk to our health.
Yeah. Well, Councilman, I'm not really sure if what he was describing as a risk is the pile. I think the risk consisted of the number of trucks that were coming and going and dumping properties on and dumping things on the property.
Absolutely not.
So.
The risk was the pile. And because Gabriel, and I will make sure you have a copy of what BB&K filed in court, Sonia Carvalho, was that we need to haul it away immediately. Haul it away. It didn't say It poses a risk if you drive some more trucks up there. It says that this needs to be removed from the ground and taken away and processed, because you can't do this anywhere else but in the city of San Bernardino. And when we talk about crushing and grinding on the sides of a road, we're driving our cars. We're on the freeway when they're crushing and grinding. We're not sitting in our kitchen feeding our children breakfast or giving our parents their vitamins. We're not sitting there watching TV, breathing this stuff in. And I don't know why it doesn't matter in San Bernardino, but it seems to matter to every other resident in every other position in every other city what their government will expose them to. And I know I'm passionate about it because I really just want San Bernardino to freaking care, to really, for us just to sit up here and be like, damn, dude, we put you guys first tonight in everything that we've done. But that's not the history, and I appreciate your position. I guess you want to argue, you want to continue to push for what you believe the recommendation is, but I just want the people to hear, like, you have an option. We have an option to do what you've asked us to do. And so I want to make a motion to do what you have asked us come here tonight, what I've heard from 5 years of meetings, which is option number 2, pick it up, move it away, and get it out of your neighborhood. That's my motion.
Thank you. There's some motions. Is there a second for that?
Yeah, I do have a question in
Councilmember
regards to the
Canas?
grand jury report that Councilmember Ortiz is referring to.
I don't have a grand jury report.
What is the report
I
that?
have an abatement warrant from the city that was awarded to the city.
So the statement that you read, what is that from?
That's from the abatement warrant. It's from the declaration filed by Sonia, as well as Mike Hartley, our previous community and economic development manager.
So the statement that was read and that it was best to remove because of the toxicity, correct?
It says the unlawful conditions that were identified on the subject property pose significant risk to life, health, and safety of the residents of the residential community within 1,000 feet of the subject property, as well as the general public, and must be abated immediately. In addition, since the TUP was revoked, the materials are no longer authorized to remain on the subject property. The city respectfully requests immediate authorization to abate these conditions by removing all concrete and associated debris from the subject property. Abatement in this matter is imperative to protect the welfare of the nearby community and general public.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that. I would like to question that if anyone could, give a little bit more clarity. The statement that was made that was unlawful, can we clarify, how is it unlawful?
The unlawfulness is that no permits were obtained before the rubble was moved, period. And that's why the TUP came into place. So you wake up one day, you see trucks, just like it was testified to earlier this evening, dumping stuff on the side, and it became an issue. So the unlawfulness is not the rubble. The unlawfulness is that the action taking was not a permitted action. Just like if you built a house without a permit, the house is not a hazard. The fact that you did not get a permit would make that structure somewhat untenable.
Got it. So I want to clarify. When the concrete was moved up Palm Avenue, there was no permit that was obtained in order to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette?
Along those lines, it was kind of my understanding that neither the person buying the concrete and moving it up to their site, nor our side allowing that, went far enough to ask questions. In other words, can I move this concrete up there? Okay, sure, you can move it up here. Here's a permit to move it.
Yes.
So where we failed, if we did, and maybe we did, but that's 4, 5, 6 years ago, was asking, well, what are you going to do with that once you get it up there? And I think that the developer probably thought, whoa, I dodged a bullet, because they're going to make me crush it and then move it. But this is easier for me because crushed, that's fewer trucks maybe. Maybe it's more, I don't know. But the point is that we did, if I'm not mistaken, give them a hauling permit to move it up onto the property.
Yeah, a haul permit was issued, yes.
So that was permitted. So we allowed it to get up there. Then everyone started complaining about it.
Yes.
And then is when the problem really started to fester. And now tonight, we have an alternative to get this thing put to bed and done and get some housing, much needed housing built that we're clamoring for, trying to improve the values of our properties and improve the value of this city by building $1 million homes. And so all of this stuff is great for fodder and for, grandstanding at the dais. But we've got a problem here that needs to be done, and we could have done this 5 years ago. We wouldn't be here tonight, and it would have been a long memory a long time ago that no one would be caring about, and there wouldn't have been any problems. But because of the makeup of the council and Valdivia vetoing it and things like that, it just sat there and festered. And now we have an opportunity to fix a problem that it doesn't really matter who caused it at this point. Yeah. We've done all we possibly can to mitigate it, make sure that it's not toxic, make sure that it can be done quickly, and we can move on.
Absolutely.
And that's my position.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ortiz.
I think we should go on along as we need to do the right thing, Fred. I don't know, how long do you want to be here? What would it take? What would it take for you to?
Let's go ahead and do the right thing.
I have a motion for us just to pick this up and move it.
Is there a second?
Will you second that?
Okay. There's a motion. Councilmember Ortiz motion to go with alternative 2. Is there a second?
I'd like to make a motion to approve staff recommendation and repeal the resolution restricting the crushing on site.
And I will second.
Okay. Thank you. There's a motion for a second. I just have some clarification question. Mr. City Attorney, what
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz mentioned about reading this, and this is through, looks like Sonia Carvalho, can you confirm that statement? If there is risks involved, or?
I haven't read what the councilmember read from, but if she pulled it from, the court's website or got it through a public record, it probably is. The only thing that I would add to what Gabriel already mentioned is an abatement warrant typically is used to abate a nuisance. And so just going and dumping, the big concrete pile, it could be that it was a nuisance, but, and there's words, that the councilmember read that says harm, but it doesn't describe how. So it doesn't say necessarily that it was impacting the soil. I didn't hear any reference to air quality. And those are really the central concerns when it comes to environmental impact. And so I can't say, that the harmful word used in what the councilmember read from necessarily is saying that it was destroying the air quality and it was destroying the soil. It could be other things. It could be that you're stepping out of your house and you're looking just at a big concrete pile. Blight could fall in that category. Traffic of trucks can fall into that category. Unlawfulness of placing things on somebody's property without permission can fall in that category. So without having all the documents in front of me, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Councilmember Ortiz.
Mr. City Attorney, I will send it to you, because I do want it to say that the judge signed off on this, and this is just the last thing I want to put in the public record. So it says, you are hereby commanded in the name of the people to enter, inspect, and abate the unlawful nuisance conditions existing on the subject property as authorized by court case, blah, 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 blah. The purpose of this abatement will be to rectify any violations of the San Bernardino Municipal Code on the subject property. The abatement is authorized and commanded to include removal of all concrete stockpile and associated debris from the subject property, dispose of all concrete stockpile and associated debris. That was what the city had originally gone to do, and this is based on the declaration by economic developer Mike Huntley. So I'll make sure I get you a copy of what you guys literally filed in court for us, so that everybody can be aware of the record of which they created. Thank you.
Thank you. And final questions that I have, alternative 1 and 2, I don't see the fiscal impact. I do see the chart. I believe that's alternative 3 only. Can staff speak to the fiscal impact for alternative 1 and 2?
Are you saying fiscal as in FISCAL?
If there is a cost associated.
Or physical?
Fiscal.
So none of the alternatives actually went into the cost of what the abatement process is going to be. But we do know, for example, through other studies that have been conducted, it's going to cost approximately somewhere between $300,000 to about $1 million to remove that pile from the property. And that is an analysis that has been done by other developers who are interested in purchasing that property. So there's a cost associated with that. I don't see the city stepping in and saying, we're going to pay to remove the debris. We didn't bring the debris to the site. So that is something that would have to be negotiated with the developer as to if that is the option the city council selects, how that is going to happen. And when that happens, how does that cost get transferred into the product that is eventually purchased on the property?
Okay, thank you. Because in the staff report, there's a fiscal impact charge of $91,500 for alternative 3.
So that is for the study.
That's the study.
Yeah, that's for the study. Okay. So it's $78,000 for the report by CSG and Kimley Horn, and then $13,500 for the 2025 lab report, 10 samples taking of both the rock pile and the soil around the rock pile, taken to the lab, studied for all these volatile organic compounds. So that's what that cost is.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more comments before we move forward? Okay, Councilman Ortiz.
If we went with option 3, why in the world would we pay for that? Why would we pay to crush and grind on someone else's property so they could build? So we're not, number 3, we would not be paid. That would be completely on the developer.
No. We're not paying for that.
Then I misunderstood what you said, because that didn't make any sense.
No, we're not paying for that.
So,
yeah.
All right. But, so we still have to still repeal the resolution. They still could crush and grind, and.
All right, thank you. There's a substitute motion
Just
and a
one
second.
more comment, if you don't mind.
Canas?
I just want to thank all the residents of the Fifth Ward that did come out. I do want to also add that in addition to the voices that were heard today, there are many other voices of the Fifth Ward that I have heard over the course of 2 years, plus in regards to Oxbow, not just the ones that were heard tonight at a podium. And I have to make decisions that are reflective and best of all of the Fifth Ward, not just a few that chose to come tonight. I want to make sure that I make note that I have taken ample time, not just through the campaign trail, but hosting community forums. We just hosted our community visioning meeting. I've opened up a community visioning survey. Not one individual has opined saying they did not want crushing, not one. Again, I wholeheartedly respect all the residents of the Fifth Ward and appreciate you guys coming out tonight, and I want that to be known. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a substitute motion and second.
Mayor, the digital voting is open.
I'm sorry?
The digital voting is open for.
Oh, it's open. Council, please vote on the digital screen.
They're voting on the staff recommendation. And the option.
Mayor Pro Tem is unable to use his digital voting. Okay. He'll do a voice vote.
Mayor Pro Tem, okay. And Councilmember Sanchez, your vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1 with Councilmember Ortiz voting in opposition.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. That concludes the discussion items. We will now move on to Mayor and City Council update. Councilmember Canas.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to our staff for last night's State of the City. Phenomenal job. I know that it was put together pretty quickly for the time frame that was given. Kudos to you guys. We got a lot of feedback in regards to the State of the City. I know that was the first one, I think, in a couple of years.
Please, thank you.
So again, I just wanted to say thank you to our city staff for last night's State of the City. In addition, as I just stated, sitting up here, obviously I'm a council person. That's what I signed up for. But I too am a resident, a long-time resident of the 5th Ward, a resident since 1984. I'm not new to this community. The decisions that I make here on the dais are reflective of that. I am a homeowner. I am a mother raising 2 children in that community. I don't send my kids away. My kids don't go to any other school district than San Bernardino City Unified. They attend school right in our neighborhood. So the concerns of safety are of utmost importance to me, not just as a resident, but as a mother raising 2 kids in this community. And the decisions that I make sitting here as a councilwoman will always be reflective of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, and I don't know if this is the appropriate place to say it, but my colleagues, my colleague to the right has impressed the hell out of me over the last couple of days. She's conducted herself at to the highest standards, and you're really shining. You did yesterday, and you have today with all your questions and the decisions you've made. So it's really, you're an inspiration to me, and I think to some of my other colleagues here. I wanted to mention that Councilmember Figueroa and myself defended our title, well, at least our record, which, okay, all right, look, maybe I should come clean. We've played in 2 pickleball tournaments, and the one from last year and the one this year, and between 2, we've won 0 games. But the competition is pretty stiff, and so, I mean, one, I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but Mario and I are going to play on a team next year because I think you're the problem. Mario, are you okay? Will you accept next year? Is that a yes? So Mario, you and I are going to play next year in the, and I hope, or Fred, yeah, or Fred. Well, Mario or Fred, one of the 2. But Juan, I can't play with you again. I think so. With that said, I'm looking forward to next year's tournament already. The neighborhood association and all the volunteers, I mean, put on a world-class event. I mean, it was really good year 1, but year 2 was a huge step up. And it goes to show you what people can accomplish when they work together and there's positivity and people aren't tearing each other down. It was a really, really good event, and I'm looking forward to next year playing with either Fred or Mario. Sorry, Juan.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say to the community that's walked out right now, like, I get your frustration. We've been there, but I appreciate everybody who showed up tonight. Like I said last night, you got to show up and speak up. It's the only way things are going to change. And, you know, this is what it is. And it's great to slap ourselves on the back while the community walks out hurt. That's kind of seems to be the message is yay us, screw you. And that's really sad. That's really, really sad and disrespectful. So you want to just let me finish and be quiet? Thank you. So,
Councilmember, please.
Yep, you weren't interrupted. Shh, shh, hush. Thank you. So on top of that, I went to League of Cities last week, and you want to? I'll finish. You want to finish? You want to be done?
Mayor, what's the speech?
Councilmember, you're out of turn.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're out of turn.
Remember that speech you give at the beginning of every meeting.
All council members deserve time to speak, so it's not your turn. You've already spoke, and we did not interrupt you when you spoke. So please, thank you so much. Councilmember Ortiz, please continue so we can continue.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your professionalism. So attended the League of Cities in Long Beach, attended some really great sessions, including youth development for looking at policies that we can put into place to make sure that we are looking to the future and all of the different programming we can do. I sat in a great session on development impact fees, which I think is something that as we continue to grow, especially in the downtown, we need to look at how we are sourcing allocations for different programmings. And also able to sit with the Latino caucus, which was just magnificent. I know the majority of our community is Latino, and just watching the camaraderie and the building of Latino leaders was really great to see, along with meeting Tex Williams from the city of Barstow, a super awesome guy, and we were working on collaborating on council members who call out corruption, so we were hoping to be able to present next year or the year after on that, so that's going to be really great. This weekend was a super busy weekend. I went to the Community Urban Garden up in Uptown, which is off of Mountain View and 40th on Josiah Bruni and the Music Changing Lives. Went over to the pickleball tournament. That's some fierceness. I've never seen pickleball in my life, but there were some ladies out there that looked very aggressive. So congratulations to them. Went to Route 66 car show in the downtown. Always love the classic cars. It was just great to see the cultural vibe and everything as we're moving forward. And then attended a youth listening session at Coma Unity Center with Your Vote, Your Voice with our local high schoolers through their ADAP program. Just amazing questions talking about youth transitional housing, homelessness, economic inequality. And so just a lot of wonderful things that are going on. I appreciated, I've been doing some meetings up at Cal State. I had students here tonight watching us in motion, and I just want to tell everybody that this is how it works, and this is exactly what you're investing your education into. And so Cal State San Bernardino, thank you guys so much for your continued partnership, and to my students, I hope you appreciated the lesson because I told you it was going to be a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. A few Saturdays ago, I had the opportunity to join Councilmember Fred Charette in support of some of our seniors at the Senior Center off of Highland Avenue for their indoor craft fair. It's a really good turnout, lots of great activities there. It was a breakfast as well. Just to support our seniors up in that area as well. It was nice, Fred. We shared a couple of pancakes up there and some coffee as well. It was nice getting to chat with some of the seniors up in that area as well. A big thank you and congratulations to our police department for Coptoberfest a couple days ago. That went well. And then again, also with the Neighborhood Association Council, congratulations on their great successful fundraiser. In fact, I'm still pretty sore from the pickleball tournament. My legs are still recovering. I had to go home and ice my legs that evening. It was very aggressive, and so now that I'm now that I'm a free agent, I'll be looking for a different partner. And I mean, truth be told, I think Theodore was just holding me back anyways. So proudly a free agent. I heard that the mayor won gold, so perhaps we'll do the mix. Yeah, we could do the mix next year. So I think we'll partner up for next year as well. So that is all. Oh no, that is not all. I've received nothing but great compliments about the state of the city yesterday. So a big thank you to our staff, all our city employees, and everybody who had a hand in putting that together. It was so great. I received nothing but compliments from people saying that this really feels like our city is making a comeback. It felt like it had a big city vibe, and the shutting down of 4th Street with the tent and the food and the music, it really gave a sense of, it gave a big city vibe. We're making a comeback. The theater looked amazing. It was great. Everybody did a great job. Thank you so much to the employees, to the staff, and everybody else, to all the sponsors who helped put it together. Yeah, and that was all. It was just a great event, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came out, to the residents, to the businesses, and everybody, again, who had a hand in it. So thank you so much. And to my colleagues, to the mayor and to the council as well. Great job. I think we were kind of up there scrambling last minute, not knowing what to do. And I really wish I would have been able to enjoy more of the social aspect of what was going on outside, but unfortunately we were getting mic checked and all kinds of other things that were going on inside, trying to figure out what exactly the program was going to be like, but it turned out great. And so thank you for everybody who turned out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Flores?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Last week I was able to take a tour of San Bernardino Valley College with the help of the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation. It's nice to see all the improvements that have been going on since I graduated in 2017, Valley Up. On this past Saturday, I was able to attend the community garden event also on 40th Street, accompanied by Mayor Tran. She made a quick stop by. Went to the pickleball tournament. I got to see our reigning champs in action, and our new future pickleball star in play. Yeah, give her a contract already. She's a free agent. But attended the Route 66 event and then went to the I Am Gifted Foundation event by San Bernardino High School. Big works what they're doing over there, and then went back to Route 66 and gave out some awards, some cards. I got to pick a car that I got to sponsor a trophy for. So, congrats to that Batmobile winner, and shout out to staff. Really, thank you guys for the incredible work for yesterday. We couldn't have asked for a better event. Really, I saw all hands on deck, and I appreciate all the time and energy that went into it. And for today, I want to thank everyone that came out to speak, voice their concerns, the dialogue and conversation that was had on the dais. It was truly important to have, because these decisions, there wasn't a perfect answer to everything. So it's just taking everything into consideration, using all the information that we have to make the best decision that we think that we can do. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Charette?
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations on your gold medal, or gold, or whatever you got. As gold, it was described as gold, and that's usually the best. So congratulations, and to Theodore and Juan, congratulations for showing up. You did better than I did. It was a busy weekend. There was a memorial service that I had to deal with. There was 2 car shows, and of course the pickleball tournament, and I couldn't make them all. So it was a busy weekend. As Juan said, we did attend the Highland Senior Center for a pancake breakfast and a little, a little rummage sale, I guess is what you would call it. Great turnout out there. Our colleague, or our counterpart in Highland, Mayor Penny Lilburn, does a great job with that organization. I'm proud of it because it's in my ward, and she does a really great job and has really turned that thing into a great, great organization. So I thank her for that, and I support it completely. Did attend also the League of Cities, and attended some really great, there's always good talks and good events to go in and listen to and pick up on best practices and what have you. But the real event is in the foyer and at lunchtime and at dinner time, talking to colleagues, talking to counterparts, and really establishing relationships with people from other cities, surrounding cities, and learning what they're doing. And as has been said in the past, we all are dealing with many, many similar issues. Sometimes we think ours are the worst or the most difficult, but you talk to a lot of our counterparts in other cities, and they face a lot of the same things. So it was, I believe, very successful. Last night, I can't say that it was successful enough. It was successful, and I agree. I too have had a number of comments about how well it was pulled off and how well it went. And I do think there's been comments, I think, tonight made that we were all on the same page, and indeed we were. And I think it goes to show how we are gelling and coming together as a council. those words that were spoken by the individual council members were all their own words. And the important thing, I believe, and what I saw and what other people saw was that our message was so much the same: unity and working together and working as a team. So I want to congratulate everybody for last night and the staff for what they did. The last item, it's over, and I'm glad to have it done, but I want to thank staff for the hard work that they did on that very difficult project that we've now kind of put to bed, and hopefully we can move on from there. And as always, we probably don't thank staff enough publicly for all that they do every day in every department. So thank you to everybody for last night and for what you do every day for this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but me. October 8th, I attended the SBCTA General Board Directors meeting, and as well as the League of California Cities Annual Conference. I did get reappointed as the API Caucus President for the caucus, and I did moderate a session on preparing local leaders for immigration policy changes. So that was a very interesting session, a huge turnout too as well, so it was very engaging. On October 11th, I participated in the NAC pickleball tournament, the first one. I had to give a big shout out though to Layla and her husband. They did give us a one-on-one because I had no idea what pickleball was about. It was my first time playing. I begged my daughter to play with me. We both did not play pickleball. Yes, and we won 4-0, and we got the gold. So now I would love to play mixed double with our Mayor Pro Tem, because I don't know if my daughter will say yes again next year. So thank you for taking that on. We'll do a mixed double. All right. After the pickleball tournament, but again, shout out to NAC. You guys did a great job. Let's keep that momentum going, because having a community active lifestyle event was really beautiful. After that, I attended the Route 66 with the family, so a big shout out to the Chambers for putting that on, as well as Heather and Jeff Farrell, who really passed out the awards, and Councilmember Flores and I was able to participate in that, so it was a very beautiful event for the community, and lots of community pride from that event. I want to remind everyone that DNA, Downtown Neighborhood Association, is hosting their San Bernardino cleanup. I believe the president was here earlier and mentioned it, but October 18th at 8 a.m. I'll be there. Hope to see many of you. So throughout the city, there's a huge effort to clean up our city and beautify our city. District 43 Little League is hosting their annual Trunk of Treat on October 18th, this Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. at 6707 Little League Drive. Hope to see you all there with the little kiddos. The city is hosting their annual trick-or-treat spectacular on October 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Algoon Park, 3664 Little League Drive. Hope to see you all there. On October 31st, Kendall Hills Neighborhood Association is hosting a Halloween parade at 5:30 p.m. on October 31st. I just said that twice. The parade starts at Irish Street and Astor Street and ends at Clemson Street and Sheridan Road. So hope to see you all there. On November 1st from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and November 2nd from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., the city will host Dia de los Muertos at Court Street Square, 349 North East Street. Please join us for art, ofrendas, live entertainment, food vendors, and children's activities. As many of, well, we've all said it, the State of the City was a hit. My phone blew up too. Lots and lots of compliments, so thank you, staff, for making this such a grand event. And the fact that the sponsors, thank you to all the sponsors. We raised almost, I believe, $100,000 to make this event free for the community. So huge shout out to sponsors for making that happen for our community. Thank you, thank you. And as well as, I'm going back a little bit, Coptoberfest from the police department. I did attend with my kids and my family. Beautiful. Shout out to the police department. Wow, wow, wow. The kids loved it. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing for our community. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go back to you. Okay. One last thing I want to close out is that I want to take a moment to recognize two important causes that touches the lives of so many in our community for the month of October. October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. a time to honor survivors, support those currently fighting, and remind your loved ones lost. Early detection saves lives, and we stand with all who are impacted by the disease. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is a reminder that no one should ever feel unsafe in their own home. As a city, we are committed to raising awareness, supporting survivors, and working together to break the cycle of violence. And thank you to all the organizations, advocates, and community members who work every day to bring hope, healing, and strength to others. And that concludes my update. Councilmember Ortiz, did you want to?
Yes, my apologies, just real quick. There's a community health fair this coming up Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30 from All Nations Churches off of Pumalo, 2282. And then Acoma Unity Center through their Golden Age Club is hosting a breast cancer awareness walk this Saturday at Ann Sherrill's Park beginning at 8 a.m. So thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, the meeting is now adjourned at 8:55 p.m. The next joint, don't leave yet, I need a quorum to close this out. The next joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency and the Mayor and City Council acting as the San Bernardino City Housing Authority and Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino acting as the San Bernardino Joint Powers Finance Authority will adjourn to the regular meeting to be held on November 5th, 2025 at the Feldheim Central Library located at 555 West 6th Street, San Bernardino, California, 92410. Closed session will begin at 4 p.m. Open session at 5. Good night, everyone. Have a safe night.